Yo. Welcome in, man, to the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Today is January the 25th. Bunch of games on the board. I do apologize for being a couple minutes late. I was trying to move some things around so I wouldn't have to do a super quick show because I always talk about my son having, stuff that the weekends are busy in the house, in the ChrisBeCappinn household. The weekends are busy, man. So really just trying to move some stuff around so we could have a longer show. And I was able to do so. So, we can talk these games out today. It's a bunch of, I think everybody in the NBA plays outside of OKC and Portland today. We got 28 teams in action, which means it's 14 games. And I think it's a bunch of really good spots on the board. I have not dug into the whole entire card for today. So maybe we can do a little bit of that on the show. Do got graphics for every single game. And it's a couple things that I'm looking at. As always, I caution you guys, and the injury report is always pretty crazy. So just some things to kind of take into consideration. Maybe you pull the trigger a little late. We got some matinee start time games though. Super excited to jump into the slate. As far as a recap of yesterday, nothing official for me. I did put the play in green on the screen. Never sent it out to the members. That was Portland Charlotte under the 220.5. Of course, Miles Bridges and LaMelo get rolled out. The game goes far underneath that total. So if you play Charlotte and Portland under, you cashed. Cleveland first quarter team total over was a winner at 29.5. Memphis team total over in the first quarter 31.5 was a winner. DeJounte Murray and Desmond Bane did not go over their props. DeJounte Murray hooked this at 13.5 if you played that, and then Desmond Bane ended up with 2 threes and he was set at 2.5. So just a quick recap of what I had on the screen. So let's jump into it for today. Couple comments, just very, very quickly. Again, I apologize for being late. I'm super late, and I'm not even gonna get through all the comments either because I see a ton of them here. We'll get into some actionable info and talk about what jaXon has to offer. Let's see. User says shout out to the Blazers for the free lick. What up, user? Appreciate you for tapping in. Tasha's greeting everyone. If you think the Commanders are going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, you better think again. There's no way they're taking down the Eagles. I'm on Philly minus the 6. Wrong program for you, Tasha. This is the Commanders program, just FYI. Nobody thought we was going to beat the Lions either, though. So I get it. I love the dog. Says she's on the Pacers today. Marcus says you like the Pacers more than the under. We're going to talk about that. What up, Project Boys? Appreciate you. Marquise in here as always. G Loco says top of the L's. Tapping in. 3 for 3 on the props last night. Swept the card in the court. Big slate. Less cash. Ken says, you said 9:15. Ken is definitely new here. But typically I try to be on time, a couple minutes late. It's just running a little bit later today, Ken. I don't owe you anything though, just FYI. What up, Ryan? Appreciate you for tapping in. It's big weekend here. RJ says props today. Side's been killing me. Side's been killing us all for sure. Let's see. What else should I talk? What up, Justin? Appreciate you for tapping in. Mario, good morning, my brother. What up, Bitsy? Dropping down says happy Saturday, ChrisBeCappinn Community. Let's see. Cap says anybody like Denver? We're gonna get into to those few games. I only got through the first few games on the card for today, and I got a little busy last night. And it's the worst day to fall behind and not be able to get ahead of some of these numbers. But I got time today, so we can talk these out for sure. Let's see. What else y'all saying in the comment section? Boston team total over. KC minus 1.5 easy. What up, Kev? Good morning, Andrew. Cavs first half team total, Pelicans over. All right, so they dropping the plays in the comments. What up, Peasy? Top of the morning to you. Says that Grizz minus 12 cash for him. And Hot TV Grits in here says great night. The Discord is popping. Bro, I can't even keep up with the Discord. There's so much going on in the Discord. So many different channels. So many different things being shared. I can't keep up. I just get in there when I'm done with all my capping. And what's up to my guy Marcus Wells? Says good morning, Chris and crew. Multitasking this AM. Yeah, it's a lot going on for sure, Mark. A lot going on. Let's jump into the slate for today. We start off with jaXon, your AI sports betting companion, buddy, tool, whatever you want to call it. Today, simple prompt. I asked jaXon. I'm trying to switch it up a little bit. I asked jaXon what were the 3 best player props for today, since we know that the NBA is a 3-point shooting contest. jaXon tells me that it likes Paul George, up and over his 2.5 threes again, which I feel like it likes Paul George a lot. Interesting to see. I'm guessing he's supposed to play on the second leg of a back-to-back. That's something I didn't look into. But Philly will be taking on the Chicago Bulls today on the second leg of a back-to-back. Paul George absolutely balled out last night. So jaXon says over 2.5 threes. He's averaging 3.5 made threes with an 80% hit rate over his last 10 games. Last 5 games, he's averaging 4 threes, over 80% hit rate. And he has a better than average matchup against the Chicago Bulls defense. Paul George has been on fire from beyond the arc, hitting his line in 4 of his last 5 games. His recent performance includes a sharp increase in 3-point attempts and making this a strong pick despite Chicago's solid perimeter defense. So if we go back, and we look at the game last night, I know Paul George went absolutely nuclear. That's what they bought him there for, not to average 15 points or 12 or whatever he was averaging. Last night, Paul George hit 6 threes. He shot 11. Finished with 30 points last night. He outscored Tyrese Maxey. So if you think that, I think that could be, potentially a good look here. I don't know if I trust Paul George in the second leg of back-to-back. He getting old, man. Anyway, continuing on, jaXon also likes Jalen Green up and over his 2.5 made threes, -115 on BetMGM. Says last 10 games, he's averaging 4.5 made threes, 80% hit rate. Last 5 games, he's averaging 3.5, 60% hit rate. And he's been a consistent shooter from deep, especially in his last 10 games. While Cleveland's defense is solid, Green's recent form and volume of attempts make it a strong pick. So jaXon likes Jalen Green. I know he's been coming off a couple stinkers. Jalen Green is one of those players that can get you 12 or get you 30. And there's really no in between with Jalen Green. You can kind of tell in the first quarter, actually, most of the time with Jalen Green. So, jaXon likes Jalen Green. And then last but not least, jaXon likes Miles Turner. The odds on this is super juiced, though. Some over 1.5 made threes. Maybe it's a potential parlay piece. Says last 10 games, he's averaging 2.5 made threes on 80% hit rate. Last 5 games, he's averaging 3 made threes on an 80% hit rate as well. Miles Turner has been a reliable shooter from deep, especially against teams like San Antonio. His recent form and high hit rate make it a strong pick here. jaXon likes Paul George over 2.5, Jalen Green over 2.5, and Miles Turner over 1.5 made threes today. I always tell you guys, if you're interested in signing up, there's a 50% promo code in the description of the video based on whatever tier it is that you select. So check jaXon out using code ChrisBeCappinn, 2 P's, 2 N's. Save yourself some time and earn yourself some coin. Checking out jaXon. Let's jump into the slate, man. Let's jump into the slate for today. First game, First game we got up is the rematch. This the rematch. Pacers and the Spurs will, of course, be in France again. Just real quick, let me get an update on. Make sure we don't got any injuries. This is a 12 o'clock Eastern Standard start time game as well. So this one kicks off in about a little less than 2.5 hours. We have a clean injury report for both teams, which means that Jeremy Sohan will play for San Antonio, and Nesmith, of course, will play for Indiana. This is one that I did bet. I did bet this one, and I bet it the other day as well. I took the Pacers thinking that they were the right side, even though Victor Wembanyama was back at the crib. And the Pacers absolutely, just burned my money. They ran through my money, gave up 140 points. So we get a quick little revenge spot here. This is what I had in my notes. I'm gonna just read you guys what I had in my notes. I am on the Pacers here, minus the 2. Well, actually, I played the money line. The loss on Thursday was just the second time in the past 10 games for the Pacers. They allowed up more than 100. That was the first time that the Pacers allowed more than 115 points in their previous 9 games. And that was the first time that they had actually given up 40 points in a quarter all season. The Spurs absolutely dominated them in the third quarter for people that were paying attention to that game. I know it was in the middle of the day. So a couple things I looked at for the quick revenge here for the Pacers. When teams play absolutely no defense in the first of a back-to-back head-to-head series, typically defense is played in the second one. This total did open a lot higher than the last one. The last one was 229. It flew up and over. This one opened 236.5. It's all the way back down to 232.5. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, if I'm being honest, with it coming back down this much. But let's jump into the breakdown. So the Pacers, like I said, they were embarrassed in that last game, gave up 140 points to the Spurs. The last time the Pacers gave up 130, they actually held the Celtics to 114 in the next game, and they won that game by 9. They were getting 10.5 points in that game. The last game was the first game all season that the Spurs had actually scored 140 points. They shot like 50% from the three-point line. This season, when you look at favorites that previously lost as a favorite in revenge spots of 3 days or less, they're 7-4 to the under. So that does say that this game goes under. They stand under by about 8 points. 8 of the 11 opponents have actually been held under their team total if the favorite lost in the first game and opened as a favorite again, including 5 of the last 6. This kind of makes sense in my opinion, especially given the situation, because I'm not expecting San Antonio to shoot 60% from the field, 50% from the three-point line. The Spurs scored 66 points in the paint. They averaged 46, which is 19th in the league. And the Pacers allowed just 51. So I do think the San Antonio's offense is going to regress a little bit. It should be a lot less scoring in this game. That's where I kind of started at. Maybe I like under. Maybe I like Spurs team total under. Don't think they're going to score that many points. But this is ultimately where I ended up on the Pacers, is because when I looked a little bit deeper at the Pacers specifically, they've lost. So Indiana has lost the first head of a back-to-back this season once. It was against Miami. The next game, they won and covered as a 3.5-point favorite against the Miami Heat. That game went up and over the total in the next one. Then I started looking deeper. Pacers have played in 3 back-to-back games, head-to-head games this season. All 3 of the matchups in the second one went up and over the total. The game against the Heat went up and over, the Celtics went up and over, and the Cavs went up and over. Spurs have played in 3 back-to-back games this season versus the same opponent. They're 0-3 straight up and against the spread in the second matchup, 2-1 to the under, and they stayed under their team total in all 3 of those games. So Spurs team total under. I ultimately just stayed off of that and just played the Pacers Pacers money line. I think I got what I get -114, I think it was, or something like that. Right now, it looks like best line available is. I don't think the Pacers about to lose twice to, and I could be wrong. Maybe Spurs take my money again, but I'm gonna ride with the Pacers in this one. Real quick, the best money line price you could get right now is -125 on Bally Bet. Some -130s out there on DraftKings, Bet365, FanDuel, Caesars. A lot of places got it at -130, but yeah, I think I got a slightly better price last night when I sent it out to the members. But yeah, I'm on the Pacers in this spot. Bounce back spot for the Pacers. This the rematch. Let's see. All right. Let's see. I want to see what price I got real quick. Not that it matters, but I want to see what price I got, and then I'm gonna go through the comments. -126 on FanDuel when I sent it out last night. So I guess 4 cent of movement. We'll see. 4 cent of value. We'll see. We'll see what that means. Probably nothing, but we'll see what that means. Let's see if we can find the comments for this one right here. Guys, Gift says, top of the morning, Chris. Let's cook the books. Gratitude. Right back at you, bro. I hope you have a great day and all your bets cash, man, for sure. Let's see. On to this game here. jaXon be hitting. jaXon probably got a better hit rate than me right now. But jaXon be cashing. Good morning, Keith says, good morning, fam. Great day in the lab after yesterday. Locked in Jokic triple-double already without thinking twice. Couldn't talk you up for that. We actually going to talk about that game. I think it's next. Pacers should lock in, Lando says. Mark likes Indy on the money line as well. Dean says Miles Turner finished with 14 points. His line was at 14.5. DeJounte Murray finished with 13 rebounds and assists. Line was at 13.5. Do we run them back today? I didn't look into DeJounte because I didn't even make it to that game. But we could talk about it. If y'all got time, y'all just stay with me, man. A couple of these games I will be talking out. This one, I'm not talking out. I already played Pacers. The Trip says Pacers -2. I could see it. I am a tad bit, suffering a little bit of PTSD from Kyrie, hitting a meaningless shot and it being a close spread when I took Minnesota -1.5 the other day. So I put this in the Discord. If a line is 2.5 or less, I'm taking money line. I'm not even messing around with these small spreads. So we'll talk a little bit about that in the next one as well. Does Tyrese Halliburton want to show up? I would hope so, J-Miz. You don't want to fly all the way to Paris just to go shopping. Like, don't you want to win a basketball game, national TV? Like, I was kind of confused in the last game, but it is what it is, man. Agent says Porzingis first quarter points. We're going to get there because I'm looking at that. G421 says, what up, Chris? Revenge spot, Pacers -2. He likes Holly to get 3 assists, Wemby threes. GLB Best says the more I dig into the game, I can see the over hidden, but I like the spot and got under 236. Yeah, I kind of started with over, then I looked at under. So the other thing I'll mention, I didn't put this in my notes, but I sent it in the Discord yesterday afternoon. The Pacers are 9-1 when they're coming off a loss. They're 9-1 to the over coming off a loss this season. So typically teams play a lot better defense after they lose a game. The Pacers just score a bunch more points. When I read into that trend, like, all right, you lost the last game, you were a favorite, and what are you doing the next game? The good teams like the Celtics, like, you know, maybe the Timberwolves, maybe the teams that play really good defense, typically bounce back on the defensive and they lock in. The Pacers just outscore you. They, like I said, they're 9-1 to the over if they're coming off a loss as a favorite. And they were a favorite in that last game. That kept me off of the under. Let's see what else we got. Justin Pacers minus 118 in his pocket. Need the Pacers to cash plus 204 parlay from last night. I put it in the Discord. Okay. Helping Hand says think he bounces back after the game. Dog walk by Wemby. I mean, Wemby was killing. Justin likes Miles Turner up and over his 15.5 points. Bryant likes Indy as well. Andrew says 5 blocks for Wemby. For me, he has been cooking. What's up, Jacob? Appreciate you for tapping in. Dean's going under on 28.5 for Wemby. He says back to regularly scheduled programming. Doesn't think he scores today. I think Indy gonna be a little bit more physical with him. I probably should have stayed off the first game and just kind of bet off what happened in the first one. I did think it's a Pacers spot today though. Spurs could shock the world again though. We'll see. Let's see. Vaughn says looking at Miles Turner threes. The volume has been there. Just the lean. I have other plays I like more than that. Hot TV Grits likes Pacers first quarter up and over 28.5. Oh yeah, I'm still tight. Oh, I'm so tight, Justin. I can't stop seeing Kyrie hit that meaningless walk-up three-pointer. I can't stop seeing the Minnesota Timberwolves give up a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. They went up by 10 and win the game by 1. And ended the third. You know what? I digress, man. If you go back and listen to it, I said I had, a substantial amount of money on the Minnesota Timberwolves in that spot. Can't get there with the Timberwolves as a favorite anymore ever in life unless it's on the money line. But I digress, man. I keep talking about it because it really crushed my soul, man. It really, really crushed my soul. Such a meaningless shot. Oh, we lost by 1 instead of 4. Why, Kyrie? Why? All right, man. All right. That's not what y'all here for. Let's keep going. Next game up, we got Nuggets and Timberwolves. This line open with Timberwolves getting 1.5 points as a home dog. They are now getting 4.5 points as a home dog. This total I got written in my notes, 232 down to 228.5, which makes sense because Anthony Edwards popped up on the injury report. He's listed as questionable with an illness. Dante DiVincenzo is without a timetable for his return, and on the Denver side, they are going to be healthy. So I'm looking at this game yesterday, way before the Anthony Edwards news even came out. I'm looking at this game yesterday, and I'm thinking to myself, I want Dallas. I want Denver in this spot. I really want Denver in this spot. It's more than like just them playing really good basketball as of late. It's the revenge that they have in this spot. They lost to the Timberwolves in the playoffs last season. They lost to the Timberwolves earlier this season. And the line was Denver minus 1.5, which to me was a strong look on Denver. I'll be honest, I put something on Denver last night at the money line was minus 120. I didn't go super heavy because I know that's how you can be limited is when you jump in on these spots super early. This was like 4 o'clock, right after I finished Cal's show yesterday. Right after I finished Cal's show yesterday, like 4:30, 4:45 Eastern Standard Time. I bet this game, and I didn't go super heavy because I don't want to get limited on Fanatics, and I know that they will limit you really, really quickly. So I did play Denver lightly, given the current numbers. So let's jump into the breakdown. So the reason why I like them, and I think this is the ultimate manipulation injury report game of the day right here. This is the one, in my opinion, because if I don't even like Denver if Anthony Edwards gets ruled out. Denver will probably find a way to play with their food, and Minnesota will probably end up winning the game. I think that when Anthony Edwards gets ruled in, this number will come back down. Then you want Denver. That would be my handicap for this game. If I want Denver, I would wait. Hopefully he gets ruled in. Anthony Edwards is not a player that typically sits out games, especially against, really good competition. So unless he, really got a bad injury, I think Anthony Edwards plays in this one. And I think this number comes back down from 4.5. Then you take Denver, in my opinion. So this is, I talked about, this being the second matchup of the season. Minnesota won the first one, 119 to 116 in Minnesota, but Denver covered the 3.5 point spread. This, of course, was at the beginning of the season when Denver was not playing the style of basketball that they're playing right now. Now Denver has revenge from earlier this season, and they lost last year in the playoffs, and they're in much better form than the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have 1 day's rest, which the Minnesota Timberwolves do as well. I'm sorry, Minnesota has 1 more day of rest, so Minnesota does have the extra day of rest. But Denver is 8-2 straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games. They've been cooking everybody right now. Jokic is playing out of this world, and I think that he absolutely owns Rudy Gobert in this matchup. Denver is so Minnesota 6-4 straight up in their last 10 games. They got a game against Atlanta coming up on Sunday. Denver is 9-7 with the rest disadvantage. I thought that was interesting. We know that they are the second best team in the NBA when they're playing on no rest. But even with the rest disadvantage, they've been good. They're 12-10 against the spread on the road. They're also just 7-8 against the spread as a road favorite. But 7-8 against the spread as a road favorite. However, they've won and covered 6 in a row after starting 1-8 against the spread on the road. So Denver, even on the road, they've been absolutely cleaning up teams. We had Denver against Dallas I think like 2 weeks ago. They went in and cleaned them up in the third quarter. They absolutely smoked the Orlando Magic in this spot as well. Denver is the most efficient team in the last 5 games in the NBA. They're 4th in efficiency on the road. They're 2nd in efficiency differential last 5 games. They're winning by about 11.5 points while playing the 12th most strongest schedule. Minnesota, 4th in offensive efficiency, but 26th in defensive efficiency last 5 games. They're also playing at the second slowest pace last 5 games, and they played against the most difficult schedule. It doesn't get any easier here, though, with Denver coming into town. When I looked at the matchup on the court, Denver should dominate the half court, where they rank 2nd last 5 games. Minnesota is 24th in defense in the half court. Denver's also 4th in offensive rebound percentage last 5 games. Minnesota 23rd in opponent offensive rebound percentage. They're giving up a ton of boards. That's one of the reasons why Dallas was able to cover it, because they got a ton of offensive rebounds late in that game that led to wide open 3-pointers. So there should be a ton of opportunities for Denver. As long as Denver comes in and they're locked in, should be a ton of opportunities for Denver to get, second chance points and, a lot of offensive rebounds in this game. So yeah, I play Denver lightly. If Denver comes back down, I'll play Denver again with Anthony Edwards being ruled in, and I'll send that out to the members at 4.5. I'm kind of just wanting to see what the injury report does here. As far as the total goes, this is a 3:00 start time game, so that's something to take into consideration. Body clocks will not be, I don't think, will be adjusted to plan it during that time. And it makes sense when you look into the trend specifically. Denver has played in 2 early matinee games this season. Both of them went under, and they were both against pretty good defensive teams. They went under against the Clippers. They went under against the Mavericks. Timberwolves, I know they're 27th defensive rated team last 5 games, but they can go, lock up and play pretty good defense. Minnesota has played in 4 matinee games this season. They're 3-1 to the under. And the only over actually came at the beginning of the season against the Suns. So they're 3-0 to the under in their last 3 matinee start time games. The game that actually went over was all the way before Thanksgiving on November the 17th. So I guess a slight lean towards the under, but more so I would want to know what happens with Anthony Edwards in this game. And then Jokic triple-double. I mean, I'm not sure what matter of fact, let's just put it on the screen so you guys can see it, but I'm not sure if this one really needs to be explained at all. I didn't play it just in all transparency. I didn't play it yet, but like I said, I'll probably add 2 plays in this game if we get Jokic in. I mean, if we get Anthony Edwards in. So real quick, this is Outlier for people that are new. There's a link in the description where you can sign up and get a 7-day free trial to check out Outlier if you're interested. If we look at Jokic's numbers though, just to put some visuals to it. I mean, I watched this guy chuck up a touchdown the other day. I don't even think that was it was just crazy. What Jokic is doing right now is absolutely insane, man. I don't think he's gonna stop in this game here. So rebounds and assists, I think, might be even better, because that's typically what you're betting on. You're betting his triple-double is typically just a bet on him to get the assists versus getting the points. His assist line for today is set at, Yeah, 9.5, and he's juiced to the over. You can see he's gone up and over in 8 of his last 10 games. I'm really just, just self-explanatory stuff, man. just pretty self-explanatory stuff. You can see, so if we look at rebounds and assists overall, you can see on the full season, he's up and over 61%. That makes this a good bet. On the road, if we go down here, look at road games, he's up and over 53%. So still cashing more than he's not, but it does come down a little bit. If we look at, let's see, if we look at the one time that they matched up earlier this season, so head to head this season, he did finish right at 22. He's listed at 22.5. So you would have got hooked, but he only had 9 rebounds in that game to go along with 13 assists. If he can get the 13 assists, I think he's gonna get the triple double, and he won't finish on the hook here. So rebounds plus assists, I think, is a really good look. The triple double is I think they got it on here. There we go. Triple double against the Timberwolves. He has not gotten a triple double against the Timberwolves in quite some time. Now, granted, these were playoff games here. You can see that he has not got the triple double, but I'm not betting against him not to get the triple double. As far as recent form, you can see that triple doubles. Let's see, last 10 games, Jokic has had one in seven of his last 10 games. He's actually going up and over and gotten a triple double. So no way I could talk anybody off wanting to bet Jokic, maybe rebounds and assists, or just take the triple double, because it's something that he's been doing through 3 quarters, let alone through the full game. So these are my thought processes here. Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert, not enough in my opinion. So these were the games that I really dug into a lot. It's a couple more games that I dug into, but we'll get through the next few games a lot quicker. Let's go through the comments real quick and see what I'm missing here after talking for a while. Let's see. Mark says, I will also be looking to fade both teams when they get home. Yeah, I could see fading both of those teams when they get home for sure, especially Boston, in my opinion. But I know Mark is talking about Pacers and Spurs. Yeah, I agree with that. Pacers here for the win. Going back to the last game, Sohan rebounds for G Loco. Jacob says, I'm going to make a video of that shot with Chris Meanford. Please don't do that, Jacob. Please don't do that, bro. Let's see. Dirty Red says, took Spurs first game, riding with the Pacers here. So a lot of people like this Pacers in the bounce back. It was at 1.5 and it's moved to 2. I think on most books. So that makes me feel good, I guess. Who cares about COV these days, though? Let's see. Russell Westbrook over his rebounds for Dean, he says. What else we saying about this one? Yeah, I try, bro. Getting limited is almost like, and I'm limited on a few books. It makes me kind of feel like Kyrie hit that shot, man. I hate getting limited on these books too. I really do. Christian Braun from Merrill going up and over on his points, rebounds, and assists. I know he did have a really good game in the last one, so I can see that making sense. What's up, JFX? It's a beautiful card today. I've got no looks today, so I'll ride with the community respectfully. Hit the like button, people. Appreciate you, bro, for sure. Dirty Rig like Westbrook over his points, rebounds, and assists. He has been cashing. Redemption says Minnesota typically plays single coverage against Jokic and try to stay home versus everybody else. I like his points today. Yeah, I think Rudy Gobert pick up a couple early fouls. He cooked, man. Remember last year when Minnesota found some success against Gobert, it was because they put Cat on him. Cat guarded him much better than Rudy Gobert did. You know, a lot of people might not want to say that, but yeah, that's a fact. I think he gets whatever he wants in this game. But you are right, though, Redemption. They do try to play him single coverage. I don't think it's gonna matter in this game. The Denver offense is it's free flowing right now, man. It's really looking really, really good with Westbrook in there at the point guard position. What up, Fahrenheit? Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. And BJ says Pacers good money today. Hopefully so. Nara says thoughts on Wemby under points, rebounds, and assists. I didn't even look into the Wemby line. So if anybody wants to help him out, y'all help him out with the Wemby look in the comment section. Not anything. I didn't look into any player props. Just wanted the Pacers in a bounce back spot. after they burned my money the other day. Next game we got up is the Boston Celtics. This line is moving to 8.5. It looks like you can still get some 8s. This opened at 7.5, and the total has moved up from 220. I had 220.5, 221. It's up to 224 now. And let's get into this matchup. So we got a Boston team injury report first and foremost. Derek White is listed as questionable. Not sure if he's going to play. Derek White has not looked great in recent form, man. It's some left knee soreness. He only played, I think, like 20 minutes in the game against the Lakers. He played 19 minutes, had 3 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists in that game. He did have a good game against the Clippers, but he also had an extended role because they were down a couple players. He had 20 points in that game, and then he had a 21-point game against Atlanta. But Derek White has looked pretty bad recently. Not sure what we're going to get from Derek White, and that kind of scares me a little bit in this matchup because I do think he's such a vocal piece for the Boston Celtics. So we'll see if he plays in this one. On the opposite side, Klay Thompson is listed as questionable as well. Klay has missed the last few games for the Dallas Mavericks. I think it's been 3. Yeah, he's in jeopardy of missing his 3rd consecutive game is what I'm seeing here. He's questionable with an ankle injury. Maybe that, moved the needle a little bit for some people. But Dallas has still got a plethora of injuries. I think it's more people on the injury report listed as out than, actually playing in the game. Jaden Hardy has been upgraded to the game time decision due to an ankle injury. You also got Lively out, Najee Marshall out, Dwight Powell out, and of course no Luka Doncic. So 8.5 is a big number for Dallas, but let's talk about it. Boston has dominated Dallas recently in the head-to-head matchup. They've won 7 of the last 10, including the NBA Finals last year. So you do got some NBA Finals revenge if you think that that's something for the Dallas Mavericks. The totals are also under. They're 8-2 to the under, including all 5 of the games or 5 of the games last year in the finals. All of those games were under, but even outside of that, the games were going under. It's a major fatigue spot for both teams. You got Boston team that's playing the 4th game in 6 nights, 6th game in 9 nights, and 7th game in 11 nights. Now, I know all of the players have not played in all those games, but some of the stars have. Jason Tatum hasn't missed any games. Jaylen Brown has played in all those games as well. So you don't like that if you like Boston. Boston's actually in the most fatigue spot on the card for today. 7th game in 11 nights, 6 and 9 nights is typically a spot you don't want. And it's the last of a 3-game road trip as well. They're coming off a terrible loss to the Lakers 2 nights ago. They lost that game by 21 points. They were laying 6.5 in that spot. The game went under 218.5, primarily because their offense really struggled. The Lakers locked in defensively. That game was on national TV as well. I think that Boston probably going to try to get up for this one because they got embarrassed playing the Lakers. And typically, they probably weren't expecting that for the Lakers in that spot, but they also played it one with their food the night before, resting all their guys against the Clippers. So that's what you get because then you end up going to overtime. And I think it's been a couple overtimes for the Boston Celtics in there. This is, like I said, the last of I think I said 3-game road trip. It's the last of a 4-game road trip. You look at recent form for Boston, they haven't been really reliable, just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. But betting the Celtics off a loss has been highly profitable this season. They're 12-1 straight up, 10-3 against the number. Their average margin of victory when the Celtics have lost their last game is 22 points. To put that in perspective, of the 13 games that the Boston Celtics have lost this season, they've won the next game by double digits every time but 3. So if you like Boston, it doesn't really matter the number because they either they're gonna win and cover or they're gonna lose the game outright. I think two of their wins came by 4 points, and then one of their wins came by 1 point in the second leg, playing off a loss. So that's Boston. Dallas in a nutshell. Recently, this is not a great spot for them either. They are in a 4th game in 6 nights. They did beat the Oklahoma City Thunder the other day in OKC on the second leg of a back-to-back after losing to Minnesota. They have played a really, really strong schedule as of late. OKC, Minnesota. I know the Charlotte game is in there as well that they lost. OKC again. So they're still the schedule. They had Dallas in here twice as well over their last few games. The deeper I looked into the game, because first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to take Boston in a bounce back spot, but I don't like the fatigue here for Boston. So then I started looking at Boston defensively off a loss, and I think that's where we can kind of hang our hats on. when I look at this Dallas team, it's not a great offensive team. I know they scored 121 points against OKC in the last game. They scored 114 against the Minnesota Timberwolves as well. But when I look at Boston, they've been playing so slow. They're fourth slowest paced team last 5 games. And I think we see Boston bringing on the defensive end, even if their offense struggles. So predicated on Boston playing much better defense than they did against the Lakers 2 games ago. Last 5 games, even though their offense is kind of middle of the pack, they're 14th in offensive efficiency. They're still number 4 in defensive efficiency. Dallas offense last 5 games is 3rd in rim frequency. So you got a Dallas team that's trying to get to the rim. They're 8th in corner 3 frequency. So they're getting to the rim or shooting threes in the corner. Boston is in the top half of the league in both of those shot zones defensively. Porzingis, in my opinion, should be able to hold down the paint. We should get a motivated Boston team, being that they lost the way that they did in the last game, at least for a half, in my opinion. Boston is a lot better in the first half off a loss than they are in the full game, because we've seen Boston kind of let go of the rope a little bit at times. I mentioned Boston playing pretty slow. They're 4th slowest paced team last 5 games. So that could make for even a slower pace. Lastly, the Mavericks, when I look at them in the first half, they're 5-2 to the under, and they're only averaging 55 points in the first half in 7 games collectively that they've been a home dog this season. Boston is holding their opponents off a loss, 7 games, holding opponents to about 52 points per game. So this is typically the spot, in my opinion, where Boston plays a little bit better defense early. The total for the full game continues to go up. I actually like Dallas first half team total under 52.5. I think that they're going to struggle to score. That's the first look. Is Dallas first half team total under. I think what I wrote down in my notes was first half under 55.5 minus 102 on BetMGM. A couple books already got this at 54.5. So I like that here. I also like Porzingis over his first quarter points. Somebody bought this up already, but we'll go back to Outlier really quickly. I think it might have been, I don't know where I heard this at first, but somebody told me about this one. And so I saw somebody put it in the chat earlier, so I already had it in my notes as well. It might have been Modi. So even on Outlier, you can go first quarter points. You can see Porzingis right here without even clicking on anything. 100% hit rate last 5 games. Last 10 games, he's 80%. And they did move the number up a little bit. This was at 4.5. It is now at 5.5. But look how many points Porzingis is averaging in the first quarter. He's back in Dallas where he used to play. 15, 8, 9, 8, 11, 8, 11. Like, they just try to get him established early. He has a really good matchup with no Lively being there. I like Porzingis first quarter points. It's really just that simple. I mean, it continues to cash. I'm not sure why we would go away from it here. Dallas not the greatest defensive team. So I like Porzingis first quarter points. 5.5 minus 125 on FanDuel right now. It looks like it's the best number. I didn't even bet it, but it was at 4.5 last game, and that's minus 265 now. So yeah, I like this one. Have not bet it yet. Looks like I said FanDuel has the best number based on here. Let's see real quick if I can find first quarter points. First quarter. I don't even know if I can find it, but yeah, first quarter points for Porzingis at 5.5. I still like the over at minus 122 on FanDuel. And then last but not least, Spencer Dinwiddie. I like the look on Spencer Dinwiddie. This is probably just a system play that I'm gonna keep running. And shout out to Taylor, because he put this in the comment section 2 games ago, I think it was, and this was when we were talking about the Celtics playing against the Clippers, and he was going to take James Harden under his 8.5 assists, and the number continued to go down. And then I talked about liking Austin Reeves under his 6.5 assists against the same Boston Celtics defense the night after, and it was another winner. And Spencer Dinwiddie, his assists under 4.5. So you can see this was minus 110. I think there's still minus 110 out there. You can see the unders for Spencer Dinwiddie. He's only gone over in 3 of his last 5 games. I know he's playing a few more minutes now, of course, because, actually, the minutes are about the same. But one thing I looked at with Spencer Dinwiddie is this Boston team is really good, in assists allowed. You can see that they're allowing the 5th fewest assists. And against point guards, they're also top 10. And it's really just predicated off what we've been talking about. Spencer Dinwiddie, when I looked a little bit deeper, he was, let's see if I still got it pulled up. Dang it, I don't. I can find it real quick. Or did I write it down already? Let's see if I wrote it down. Let's see. I did not write this down. I thought I wrote it down though. Let me double check. Yeah, no, I did. So Spencer Dinwiddie is under his assist prop, under 4.5 assists in 10 of his 14 games when he's playing against a defense that's top 10 in assists allowed. So I think Spencer Dinwiddie, it was between him and Kyrie, in my opinion. Kyrie also averages about 5.5 assists. About 5 assists as well. But I'll pick on Spencer Dinwiddie here, thinking that he just plays a lot of ISO basketball, and if he gets the ball, he'll be shooting threes. I like Spencer Dinwiddie under 4.5 assists in this matchup. And real quick, let me just see if this was already starting to get juice. I didn't even play it yet, but let's see, Dinwiddie. Yes, -115 now. That is the best odds. DraftKings had it actually at -110. Now it's down to -125. I hate that, man. I should have probably just locked this one in. But I'll go Spencer Dinwiddie under on his assist prop here. Under at 4.5, -115 is the best number now. I hate losing at 5 cents, but it is what it is. So 3 plays for me in this game that I really do like a lot. First one being the Celtics, the Dallas Mavericks team, first half team total under 55.5. The second one being Kristaps Porzingis up and over his 5.5 points in the first quarter, and then Spencer Dinwiddie under his 4.5 assists are things that I'm looking at here. Let's see. Let's get back to the top. See what you guys are thinking. Let's see. Jacob says, I was hoping to get a Wemby's points prop at 29.5 to fade it, but I took his under 12.5 boards. He's under that in 6 straight games, and he's under that in every game he's faced against the Pacers. So Jacob likes the rebounds under a little bit more, and Jacob be hitting on these player props, man. So shout out to Jacob. Appreciate you for dropping this in the chat. Let's see. This makes a lot of sense. He says in his career, Miles Turner stretches the floor, pulls him away from the basket. You can see that. Flint likes PJ Washington. He's been killing. PJ had 20 boards in that game against the baby Thunder the other day. Thunder better get a big, man. Wemby under 5.5 blocks and steals for Devano. Celtics continue to take everyone's cash in the month of January. Best team in the league narrative has to cease. I know you said this the other day, guys, Giff, but you still ain't tell me who you think the best team is. Because if you think it's the Cavs and they lose to the Celtics, they lose to Philly last night, I don't know. You just got to let me know who the best team is. If it's not the Celtics, who is the best team? GLB Bet says Celtics, he think they get to 117 in this game. Jacob says, just start Peyton Pritchard. He has been cooking. S-Dub says taking Kyrie over his 3-point prop at 2.5 and hitting threes. 3-4 past games. I do know well based on Minnesota. I don't want to talk about that one, boy. G421 says Mavs +8 and money line spot play. Couldn't quite get there with the points with the Celtics, but I don't want to bet against them off a loss. Taylor coming in here with some Porzingis stuff. He says with Porzingis and Brown on the floor, Tatum averages 11.2 boards per 36 minutes compared to 9.8 when Porzingis is off the floor. Mavs allowing the 18th most rebounds. If you filter out the best 10, filter out the 10 best rebound teams, he's over in 11 of his 13 games, averaging 11.2. Man, let me find out. I need to put together a little same game parlay. That's not even in my vocabulary. But Tatum up and over his rebound prop sounds like it's a really good look today. What's the number for Tatum boards today? Let's see. Rebounds. Wasn't even something I was even thinking about. I like playing Tatum boards, but wasn't something that I was thinking about. I will say this. The Celtics are better defensively on the road. If you look into the trends, if you look into the advanced metrics. I know you didn't see it the other day against the Clippers. You didn't see it against the Lakers either. But they have been better on the road. jaXon Tatum boards are 8.5 -125. Add that to my short list on ESPN Bet. Best number -142 on FanDuel. That's why you shop around, get the best number, save yourself some coin. Dean thinks Boston scores. He likes over 116. Boston averaging 124 off a loss as a favorite. Fingers crossed they come out and try to make a statement. And I like that first half team total under. I think it correlates as well. Don't like the Celtics in this spot. A lot of traveling, also a lot of fatigue. No Luka, no bueno. BJ says. Porzingis first quarter points for San Francisco 49er. Okay. Kyrie better shoot with that same energy. Boy. I know Hot TV Grizz was on it as well, man. Boston team total over for Mark. A lot of people liking Boston to score. Drop It Down says Mavs offense has been bad. You know, it's crazy to say that, Drop It Down, because when you look back at it, they've actually been scoring. They scored 121 against OKC. That game went up and over to 224 total. Against Minnesota, they scored 114. That game went up and over the total. So if you take away the Charlotte game where I actually had them to score, because I took the over, they've actually been scoring like 114 points against two solid defensive teams in their last two games. I don't know. We'll see what we get from them. I don't think about this Dallas team as a team that's scoring the basketball a lot, though. I agree with you there. I don't think about them as being a scoring team, but they've been able to score. They should struggle here today, in my opinion. But like I said, it's a major fatigue spot for Boston as well. Just to put some numbers to Dallas offense last 5 games, though. Let's just look at it. Dallas last 5 games offensive rating is actually they're 20th. So 20th in offensive efficiency. So bottom 10. Yeah, just barely in the bottom 10. Which is a lot worse than the full season. They're actually still 8th on the full season. So put some numbers to that. Jacob says Porzingis in the first quarter has been stupid, so good and consistent. Love to hear that. What up? What up, Cal? Good morning, Nayeli. Says Celtics and under. Justin says he's on the Celtics with Mark. Tell that team total over. Justin GLB likes it as well. Joe says, what's good, y'all? He took the Celtics here. Dropping Dime says, with the total being 224, I'm really liking the Celtics Mavs first half under. I think it's a first half under specifically for the Mavs team total. Like I said, 55.5 is the best number, but it makes a ton of sense in my opinion, Dropping Dimes. It does, man. Guys, gifts in my opinion has to be Cavs or Thunder. I guess I got PTSDs from the Celtics also. Yeah, the Cavs need Mobley, man. They need Mobley. You can't give up 130 points to Philly. Like that is bad. That's bad. That's why I can't bet the Cavs today either. It's a major fatigue spot, even with the revenge. We're gonna talk about that game in a second. But I don't think the Cavs better than the Celtics. Not in current form. I don't think the Cavs better than the Celtics. And the Cavs gonna have to prove it, man. They're gonna have to prove it come playoff time. I do think that they're better than last year for sure, though. Do think that they're better than last year. And like I said, the same thing with the Thunder. Missing the big, they just lost to the Mavs. They've also failed to cover. All the teams that were covering and winning all those games, starting to lose and not cover. What up, Brian says, I got 6 plays today. Share them, Brian. Let us know what you want, man. All right, let's move to the next one. We got real quick on this one. Heat and Nets. Ugly game. Injury report is also ugly. Real quick, I got in my notes. So this line was I think it was at 8. It's up to 9 now. Total was at 210.5 down to 209.5. I actually opened at 211.5. It's all the way down to 209.5. And we got on the Miami side, just Jimmy Butler. I think his second game of suspension. Josh Richardson out. And then on the Brooklyn side, Ben Simmons, D'Lo, both listed as questionable. Cam Johnson is out. Zaire Williams is probable, though. He could return in this game. And, initially I started this game and the first thing I looked at was situationally Miami, coming off back-to-back losses against Milwaukee and Portland. They've lost 5 of their last 6 and covered just 1 of their last 6. They're 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. But I'm like, man, they're going to smoke Brooklyn. Everybody's smoking Brooklyn. Brooklyn's lost 5 straight games, but they have covered 2 of their last 5. They played the most difficult schedule in the NBA as of late, if you go back and look at their strength of schedule. So we cashed on Brooklyn team total under the last time that they played against the Phoenix Suns the other day. A slow-paced team. I talked about Phoenix being bottom 5 in pace on the road. And that was a pretty easy one. But Brooklyn was in a major fatigue spot in that game. They were, I think, 5th and 7 or like 6th and 9 or something. I gave you guys the spot for Brooklyn. They were in the most fatigue spot on the board on Thursday night. I think that was on Thursday night. Or Wednesday, whenever they played. So the first thing that jumped off the page to me here, I'm gonna just go over to MoneyBaller. Just show you guys my thought process. I wasn't on this one long, but I want to show you guys how I was looking at this game. So now we're over on MoneyBaller. So this is Heat Nets, right? You can see some of the situational stuff here. You got the Nets with the rest advantage. They got double-digit in-season revenge. Well-rested, 2 or more days rest. Back home favorite. So you got baller systems on the Heat, back road favorites that have not been doing as well as their opponents in the last several games. Back heavy non-divisional road favorites as well. So I came down. I'm looking at the trends. And the one that jumped out to me is boom right here, right? And I didn't mention this, but MoneyBaller, use the link in the description if you guys are interested in checking out this site. You can get 50% off your first month. So this is the team total record for the Brooklyn Nets. They are 13-2 in the first half on their team total to the under. So Brooklyn really struggles to score the basketball in the first half. Defensively, offensively, they really struggle in the first half to score the basketball. So that's what I wrote in my notes. I wrote Brooklyn is 13-2 to the under on their team total in the first half as a home dog. Their team total for the full game is 100.5, minus 115 on Bet365. If D'Lo doesn't play, they struggle to score, play a slow pace Miami team. Even though they haven't been great recently, they should be able to hold them to 100 points is what I wrote in my notes for Miami. Thinking that Miami, could play slow. Brooklyn's is last in offensive efficiency last 5 games, only averaging 95 points per 100 possessions. They're playing at the 4th slowest pace. However, then I got to looking at Miami defense. Miami defensively is 29th last 5 games. That is enough to make it a stay away from me. It's not like they played against a very difficult schedule at all. Miami just been really, really bad. And without Jimmy Butler, I don't trust them in this spot. I know you look at this game, you think real quickly like, all right, cool, I'm going to just take Miami here, or I'm gonna take Brooklyn team total. I wouldn't go that quick. I wouldn't move that quickly against the Brooklyn Nets in this spot. If D'Lo plays, which he is listed as questionable due to personal reasons, so not sure what's going on with him. He could potentially be out and miss this game. But if he plays and Ben Simmons plays, I'm not laying points with Miami here, man. So then I was like, scratch that. If everybody plays for Brooklyn, I'd be looking at taking the points. Miami's defense isn't guarding the three-point line well. We know all Brooklyn want to do is shoot a bunch of threes. You got a Brooklyn team that's struggling to protect the ball. They're last in the NBA with ball protection, last 5 games. But you got a Miami team that isn't forcing any turnovers. They're actually forcing the fewest turnovers last 5 games. So I'd be taking the points with the Brooklyn Nets here. Miami's only 8-14 against the spread in their last 10 games. And you look at some of their losses. Yeah, they got smoked to the Bucks, but that was supposed to be a Miami spot. The Bucks were flying into that game. They literally got there 5 minutes before and flew into the game and smoked the Milwaukee Bucks, smoked the Miami Heat in that game, beat them by 30. 29 points in that game. They also lost to Portland. They were laying 8.5 points in that game, and they lost that game by 9. They beat San Antonio, but before that they lost to Denver, they lost to LA, they lost to the Clippers. So I'm not in a rush to go back to Brooklyn Nets, to back the Miami Heat here. The Brooklyn Nets, I said that they hadn't won a game recently. They've lost 5 in a row, but theirs at least came to, I think, better competition. They lost to Phoenix, they lost to New York, they lost to OKC, the Lakers, the Clippers, Denver again, Detroit, Indiana. So I would slight lean to me for Brooklyn. If everybody plays in this game, I'd be taking the points before I'd be landing with Miami. Miami has not showed me anything that makes me want to lay points with them. I think that they are the worst. They are the lesser of the 2 evils in this game. So just some quick thoughts on this one, and I'll get off of MoneyBaller, get back over, and we'll check out the comments and keep the show moving. Like I said, it's a ton of games on the board, so we'll start to speed up the process a little bit. Let's see. We got Miami versus Nets. Is a backwood, Tasha says. Mark says he agrees. Nets +9 leans that way, and that's the only way I would be looking to bet it as well. We'll see what happens with the injury report. I think you just kind of monitor the injury report here. If Brooklyn, sits all their players, maybe we get an even better number with Brooklyn. But if Ben Simmons and D'Lo play, I'll be running to the window to grab a +9. I'm not laying points with the Heat. It won't be the biggest player today, but I won't be laying points with the Heat here. Let's see what else y'all saying. Jacob says no bet in this game. What's up, Lightbearer? Says today has the potential to be a very successful day. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Jacob says if Simons and Russell are out, okay, Nets team total under on ESPN bet, 100% hit rate recently. Vince Carter jersey retirement in Brooklyn. I remember when the Raptors honored him earlier this season with the injuries and still cashed. If that's the angle, yeah, I didn't even know they would retire. Vince Carter getting his jersey retired? I had no idea. I missed that. Okay. Yeah, that's an even more reason. And we know one thing about Brooklyn, man. I know Miami is a pretty good first quarter team, but Brooklyn, I know that recently they haven't been covering, but Brooklyn's still one of the better first quarter teams against the spread in the NBA. Let's see real quick. Last 10 games, Brooklyn is, so maybe it's just a Brooklyn first quarter spot. Last 10 games, Brooklyn, excuse me. Brooklyn is, let's see. Brooklyn's 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games in the first quarter. So, yeah, it could potentially be a Brooklyn spot early as well. That's something that I need to make sure I add to my notes as well. Miami can start off hot, though. But last 10 games, Miami's actually, yeah, they're also pretty good. 7-3 against the spread last 10 games. And it feels like the longer the game goes on, Miami starts to wet the bed more and more. Let's see. Dirty Rig pointed it out as well. Dropping Dime says, until Butler saga ends, I think Miami's a complete fade. Right there with you. Right there with you. What up, Malik? Says catching you from in New York. And I'm going to the Nets game tonight. Okay. Hey, I hope you enjoy it, bro. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoy that for sure. Malik. 77 Figure says, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm off anything, Miami, till they get the Jimmy Butler stuff figured out. I agree with that. What's up, Fortune? Let's see. Ware from Miami has been on a tear. He has been, LCs. He really has been. Yeah, he's going to be really good in the league, too. I've been watching him play. I've been watching Miami. Nolly says take the Nets on the money line here. Josh says Nets on the money line. I think that's a tad bit too far. But we did just see the same Nets team, the same Miami team lose to Portland the other day. So let me talk y'all off. Next game up, let's go to Orlando. We got the Pistons. They are laying in this spot. Actually, they're still catching. My fault. They're still catching. They're catching. Detroit is getting 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. This total open 212.5 has come down to 210. I see a 211 on DraftKings right now as well if you're interested in taking the under. So let's talk about this one. Injury report here, and this is where I kind of stop. So we'll go rapid fire. Y'all let me know if y'all got questions about the games or different angles that y'all want me to look into, because I didn't make it through too many games on the slate. But the games that I made it through, I kind of did my due diligence and dug deep. The rest of the games I did not. So Detroit, I know I did look at the injury report. Detroit has fully healthy injury report outside of Jake Nivey, of course. And Orlando could potentially get some guys back. Gary Harris is still going to be out, but Jalen Suggs has been upgraded to questionable. He hasn't played in quite a while. Cole Anthony, which doesn't move the needle for me, is also listed as questionable. And then you could also get Gogo Batadze back today, who has missed the last handful of games with a concussion. Third matchup of the season, both teams are split so far this season. Detroit is in much better form, in my opinion. They've won 7 of their last 10 games and back-to-back. As road dogs, they went into Houston and got a big win on MLK Day. Followed that up with another win in Atlanta the other day. So back-to-back games with wins as road dogs. And then on the Orlando side, man, kind of feels like you're catching the falling knife. 5 straight losses, 5 straight non-covers. They're 7-3 to the under in their last 10 games, 3 straight unders, all because their offense looks absolutely atrocious. This is the worst offensive team in the last 5 games. And it's really hard for me to wrap my mind around it, man. I'm not somebody that bets Orlando a lot, but I'm also somebody that's like, man, Orlando is a lot better than this. I look at their numbers, last 5 games, they are the second worst offense. They're actually the 4th worst defense. And it's crazy to think that, because on this full season, they're still the 3rd best defensive rated team. But last 5 games, they can't get a stop. It don't matter who they're playing against. Portland, come in there, clean them up. It's just teams that you wouldn't even expect. Toronto, teams that's not going to make the playoffs, have absolutely been mowing down this Orlando team. And Detroit is, like I said, in pretty good form. When you want Detroit, you typically want them as a dog. You typically want them as a road dog. I think that they are one of the more profitable teams. They're 15-7-1 against the number on the road. That's 68%. And as a road dog, they're 12-5, which is 70.6%. The Orlando Magic just feels like, even though they could be getting their guys back, maybe it's a spot where, they get their guys back, but it take, a little time for them to get right and kind of gel. Now that they are getting back to a fully healthy roster, it's a difficult game for me to bet, if I'm being honest with you guys. It's a very, very difficult game for me to bet. I did not bet the game, but I am interested. If y'all got questions or suggestions, let me know what y'all are thinking in the comment section here. I'm looking at trends. I see Orlando as a home favorite. They are still 11-5, 68.8%. Detroit last 5 games, 24th in offensive efficiency, but 7th best in defensive efficiency. And that was my thought process, was just look towards the under, especially with Orlando struggling to score the basketball. Detroit is pushing pace though, but I think Orlando paces any team down. Detroit's actually playing very, very fast. They're actually 3rd in pace last 5 games against the 11th strongest schedule. So Detroit's been playing against some pretty good teams. Orlando, 24th in pace at home. They're 27th in pace. So bottom 5, last 5 games and at home. And they have also just been, man, it's hard for me to think about Orlando being this bad for this long. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. I'm just giving you guys some numbers and some thoughts of what I'm thinking here. Let's see. Pistons, in my opinion, Zay Dog says, classic Magic logo. They need to go back to that one. At least it's here. I love this logo. That's why I switched it up and went to this one. This was when I was a kid. I love this logo. I had the T-Mac jersey too in this logo. Tom said, don't nobody want Jimmy Butler. That's a fact. That's why they can't move him. Trap game backward, Tasha says. Maybe it is one I'll watch too. 77 Figure says, Wands and Paulo got me to get back in the flow until they get it together. I like the Pistons plus 2.5. And that was my thought process as well, 77 Figures. It feels like Detroit's playing too good for me to want to catch the falling knife. But Orlando is going to bounce back in a big way sooner or later. Like, it's not like they won't be motivated. They just really falling off a cliff defensively. If Jalen Suggs plays, I think that's a buy-on spot for Orlando. But Jalen Suggs has missed so many games that it feels like he could potentially struggle to, just conditioning-wise. Detroit's going to want to try to push the pace in this game. I said that they were top 3 in pace over the last 5 games. So it's tough, man. Dropping down since I'm going to play Detroit plus the 3. But I looked at Orlando's schedule, and this is the last game before they hit a 6-game road trip. I did see that as well, dropping down. Orlando, it starts on the East Coast, but I think they end up going out west. I know they play against Miami coming up on Monday. Magic money line. I don't know, JFX. I don't feel strongly about it. Brian says he'll take the Pistons plus 2.5. Orlando's team has been decimated with injuries. People have been having to play out of their roles. I agree with that. He says now everybody is back. They'll have to figure it out again. And I agree with that. I think sometimes you fade those teams in the first game back. If they were on the road, I probably would definitely be looking towards Detroit. But Orlando still, with the books, even having them listed as a favorite, I don't know, man. We just seen a lot of regression from Orlando recently. A lot of regression from Orlando. Fishy line. I initially like Magic, but I'm off. BJ says. Dirty Rig says Magic at home. Give me the Magic. Couple losing 6 in a row with Franz getting the game under his belt last night, and my gut tells me Orlando might be the right side. Pistons have been hooping, but I think Orlando is desperate, and I agree. I don't want to bet against the desperate spot. Don't want to bet against the desperate spot. Probably, I lean towards Detroit both games. I talked about it on MLK Day. I like them plus the 8.5. I think they were getting against Houston. Didn't bet it. Like them plus the 2.5 the other day against Atlanta. Didn't bet it. I'm not going to fall for this trap here, especially with Orlando in the desperation spot. So I'll stay off of this one, but I guess I'll lean towards the Magic. Natalie says Magic. Brian says Orlando definitely struggling. Let's take the points with Detroit. Orlando a pass. Pistons plus 3 for Jacob. They playing the music tonight finally, Natalie says. They do play that music when they win at the end. They be singing and stuff. We'll see how it goes. Brianna says non-playoff teams are better than ever. Non-playoff teams are better than ever. Pistons are not the Pistons of old anymore. Detroit here. Orlando roster hasn't been consistent. And that is also true. They have struggled with some consistency. Orlando, but passing, Mark says, I'm glad we agree with this. Justin says, you ain't have a Dennis Scott jersey? Nah, I didn't have a Dennis Scott jersey. 3D for 3. Nah, I didn't have a Dennis Scott jersey, but Dennis Scott's my guy. I love Dennis Scott. Magic money line. Celtics first half is my play, Sosa says. Pistons plus 2.5. So it's some conflicting stuff here. Let's just go over to the next one. Yeah, you really can't sleep on Detroit, Carlos. I agree with that. They have been. It's not like they've been beating up on the lesser dens in the Western Conference or the Toronto Raptors. Like they got a big win in Houston the other day, and Houston was red hot in that game as well. And then they beat Atlanta as well, which I'm not sure what to make of Atlanta right now. Atlanta's going through it, man. I don't know if they want to play basketball. Let's move over to the next one. I'll stay off of this game. And all together real quick. Hold on. Matter of fact, let's go. Let's do one more thing real quick before we move over to the next game. Because I didn't look at this game from a MoneyBaller perspective. But let's go back to MoneyBaller real quick. Because like I said, my top play, I kind of feel like if people like Orlando, I think you like Orlando because of their defense, not necessarily because of their offense. If they're trying to get everybody back together offensively, they could still struggle. Detroit defense is actually pretty good. Real quick, let's see something real quick. Detroit defensively, Detroit is a better road team than home team, first and foremost. Detroit defensively on the road is a top 10 team. They're 10th in defensive efficiency. Last 5 games, they're 7th in defensive efficiency. So clearly, I'm trying to get towards the under. So let's look at this game. So we got a lot of systems on the Magic here. Back favorites on opposite momentum. Back favorites off a loss versus a team on a short win streak. Back teams on a 5-game ATS streak or more. 5 ATS game losing streak or more. Back conference home favorites with revenge. And then it's an over system as well, which I don't like to see that. But then on the Pistons side, we got under system based on the low total. They're well rested and they have the rest advantage coming off a win as a dog. So a letdown spot potentially for the Pistons. So if we go down, I just want to see the totals. Let's look at the totals. So over under record, the Magic 7-2 to the under. For the first half and for the full game, if they're at a rest disadvantage. Like to see that. First half and full game, they're under as a home favorite. But the Pistons, and I talk about this all the time, taking the Pistons first half team total over when they're on the road as a dog has been so profitable. It went over against Houston and it went over against Orlando and against Houston and Atlanta in the last 2 games as well. And they're 6-1 to the over with the rest advantage. So I don't like that at all. Team totals, looks like the Pistons go over as a road dog, full game and first half. The Magic go under at the rest disadvantage, but as a home favorite, they're about even. Opponent team total record, so I guess it's not anything too strong to really like the under. I just look at these teams and I think Orlando's going to pace down the Pistons, but I'll stay off of it. Let's just move over to the next one. It's other games on the board for today, so we'll get off of this. I really wanted to get there with the under though. That was a full game under or first half under kind of makes the most. But I'll watch Orlando just especially with them, trying to figure things out. They're not as bad as their recent record though. I will say that, and I know Detroit has been absolutely cooking. So let's move over. We got Pelicans at Hornets. Another game. I don't know. I didn't look too deeply into this one. Zion is listed as supposed to play though, according to the announcers. He is supposed to be back. Now both teams playing on the second leg of back-to-back, so both teams can rest players. The Pelicans lost last night in Memphis, and Charlotte lost last night at home against the Portland Trailblazers after ruling out LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges. Steph Curry's game time decision. Cody Martin is game time decision. Trey Mann continues to be out, and we'll see who gets listed on the injury report here. I have no idea what to do with this game. I know that as far as like travel and fatigue spot, it does favor the Pelicans here. They did play last night, but before that, remember they had the gap in their schedule because they didn't have to play the game against the Bucks because of the snowstorm. So it's pretty short travel from Memphis to Charlotte as well. I'm pretty sure that probably takes less than maybe an hour on an hour flight. And then the Charlotte side, this is 4th game in 6 nights. Now, of course, if LaMelo comes back, if Miles Bridges comes back, they won't be in a 4th game in 6 nights. But the Charlotte Hornets side, they're pretty bad right now, in my opinion. Pretty bad, in my opinion, especially if they're not going to have those guys. I already didn't want to back them yesterday without Brandon Miller. They scored 97 points yesterday. And like I said, you kind of got to wait on the injury report. I think it's much better games on the board. This is not one that I really want to look too deeply into. Real quick, they did play. This is the first game this season. The Pelicans have won 4 straight in the head-to-head matchup. The Pelicans have covered 3 of the last 4. If they have everybody and I guess I could see the Pelicans winning as a road favorite. It's not something that I don't think I've bet the Pelicans as a road favorite all season. Let's see if the Pelicans have been a road favorite this season. New Orleans. New Orleans has been a road favorite. Four times. They're 1-4 against the spread. It does not make me feel good at all. The Hornets are 11-9 against the spread as a home dog. That's 55%. So trends, I guess, would kind of point towards them. If we look at Charlotte last 5 games, we look at the Pelicans last 5 games. I know the Pelicans been scoring. Maybe we just go back to CJ McCollum. I feel like the Charlotte Hornets always struggle against guards. Pelicans are 6th in pace. 5th in pace last 5 games. They are still 7th in offensive efficiency, 20th in defensive efficiency. The Charlotte Hornets kind of middle of the pack and everything. 17th in offensive efficiency, 17th in defensive efficiency, 23rd in strength of schedule, and 18th in pace. So not a game that I'm really interested in. Just sharing some thoughts with you guys on this one. Let's see. Thomas says, man, the Pistons are on fire. They absolutely are. Pistons money line for Q. Faden Banchero. He probably going to bounce back in a big way here. Malik says you lean over first half, both teams. No, I lean under in that last game. It will be under for me. But I don't like that Detroit is so good in the first half. Don't like that at all. Let's see. Anything on this one? BJ says backwood. This game is trash. Pass straight to the Cleveland game, Dirty Rig says. Pels money line -130 when Jacob got it. Do we trust Mark Williams after last night? What did he have last night? Mark Williams could be the player prop cash in this game. He absolutely could. Just because, who the Pelicans got to stop him? Pelicans got Messi down there. That ain't going to get it done, in my opinion. Let me just pull up Mark Williams' game log from last night. Mark Williams had 15 points and 9 boards last night in 31 minutes. It wouldn't surprise me, honestly, GLB, if Mark Williams sat in this game. I know they don't got a bunch of bigs, but like, how many minutes he gonna play on the second leg of a back-to-back? I'm not sure. We'll see. Like I said, monitor the injury report, but he has a very good matchup. Very, very good matchup. Pelicans aren't good on back-to-back. Let's see if we can put some numbers to that. Pelicans are 4-6 against the number when they're unrested this season. The Charlotte Hornets are 4-2 against the spread when they're unrested this season. Oh, you already put it down here. 4-6 against the spread. Zion back. How do they lose? Tomorrow says, yeah, it's so many other options. Like Mark says, I'm not messing with that. GLB Best says third quarter under 60.5. Pelicans ruined the perfect night yesterday, Brian says. Zion gonna show out in Charlotte. Oh, I forgot about this. Hot TV Grits. Duke, NYC alum, always do. Yeah, so maybe a look towards Zion. I can see that. September says, morning, Chris. Thanks for all the detailed work. Appreciate this for sure. Nayeli says Hornets money line. This game is going to be similar to the past Spurs versus Pacers game, and the underdog went out right. Potentially, I just think if the Pelicans play everybody, they are better than Charlotte. But if Charlotte plays everybody, I still think the Pelicans are better than Charlotte. But like I said, who knows who's going to play? Next one up, let's go Raptors and Hawks. Another game doesn't intrigue me too much. Injury report is important in this one. You got Ochai Agbaji already listed as out. Kelly Olynyk is out. No Quickly as well on the Toronto side of things. And then Atlanta, they do have Trae Young listed as questionable, like truly questionable, not probable. I feel like he has been playing through that though. Jalen Johnson is already out. No Riche, of course. And then Larry Nance Jr. is listed as probable. He should return in this game. Clint Capella also listed as probable here. So these two teams did just play. You got Toronto team that does have the rest advantage for Atlanta. Still not the greatest of spots. Real quick, let's get to this one so I can give you guys a little more information. So this line actually opened with Toronto, with Atlanta laying 3.5. Now it's up to 4.5. So strong money coming in on Atlanta to win this game and cover. Toronto did just beat them by 3 as a 5-point dog. So you got the quick revenge here for the Atlanta Hawks. I want nothing to do with Atlanta without Jalen Johnson, though. And it really just comes down to that for me. I don't trust them defensively. When you're giving up 122 points to the Toronto Raptors, that's really all I needed to know. The Raptors haven't scored 122 points in their last 10 games. They actually hadn't even gotten to 115 in their last 10 games. And then you come to Atlanta, and we always talk about it. The opponents just go up and over their team total real quick. I'll go back to Moneyballer again, but I talk about this all the time. I probably should just bet it every time. Let's see real quick. Atlanta Hawks and the Toronto Raptors. So let's go here. Let this populate for a second. So coming off a win as a dog for the Raptors, letdown spot. Like I said, bad travel fatigue spot for Atlanta. I know that they're still at home, but it's third game in 4 nights, 4th and 6th for them. In-season revenge, coming off a loss as a favorite. A lot of baller systems on Atlanta today. When you see this many baller systems on one team, you typically want to play on that team, but I still can't get there. So if we come down here, this is the one thing that always jumps out to me, is that the opponents for the Atlanta Hawks are 11-1 to their team total over if the Hawks are a favorite. If the Hawks are a home favorite, their opponent scores up and over their team total every single time. And then you see Atlanta as a favorite between 2.5 points to 7 points, and they've covered one time. I can't bet Atlanta, man. It should be a nice bounce back spot for Atlanta. But this is another game that I'm staying far, far away from. The Toronto Raptors have they've won back-to-back games. They beat Orlando, beat Atlanta, and they play the Pelicans at home on Monday. And then Atlanta has lost 3 straight games. They lost to the Knicks on MLK Day. They lost to Detroit as a 4-point favorite, and they lost to Toronto as a 5-point favorite. They play in Minnesota, so they get away from Atlanta, go back out on the road. This is third straight home game, though. They just look really, really poor in their last few games, not trying to catch that falling knife. Only 3-7 are the Atlanta Hawks in their last 10 games against the spread. So maybe Toronto can keep it close again. Not something that I want to invest on either way. 2 teams that I really don't trust. Let's see. We have thoughts here. Manny says Cooper Flag on over on anything. Charlotte 13-9 with a day's rest. They don't have a day's rest though here, Flint. Playing on the second leg of back-to-back, but like 3-17 after 2 days rest. Flint says I like the Hawks money line, just win. So he's probably putting them in a parlay. Let's see. Natalie says running it back with the Raptors money line again. The Hawks play to their competition, and they lost with Trey and Jalen. So with the line being at 4 and Trey being like really listed as questionable, and it opened at 3.5, I think that's telling me that that Trey is going to play in this game, even though he is truly listed as questionable right now. I'm completely off of this game though. What up, Ski? Says get that cash. Appreciate you for tapping in. Brian says he'll take the Raptors plus the 4. 77 Figure says I've had enough of Quinn Snyder. He has made two-way players but doesn't emphasize defense. Prefer Nate McMillan. Yeah, the players didn't prefer Nate McMillan. That's why they got him up out of there. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Mike Brown in Sacramento. But yeah, Nate McMillan was a much more of a defensive coach. I never thought that Quinn Snyder was a good defensive coach ever, even when he was in Utah. Let's see what else we seeing here. Toronto team total over. Tasha riding with the trend. Think that they get to 116. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm not touching the total, not touching the side. Just giving you guys thoughts. Next one we got up, Kings and the Knicks. We got 5.5 in favor of the Kings. In favor of the Knicks, I'm sorry. Home favorite. Game be played in New York. Total, I wrote in my notes 235.5 yesterday, so it's come down to 233.5 now. And there are some injuries in this one as well. Another game that I didn't really dive too deeply into, but we'll go over to Moneyballer and see if it can help us handicap this one. So Fox is listed as questionable. Of course, that's big. Right thumb injury for him. He sprained it. And then on the other side, Josh Hart is truly listed as questionable as well due to a neck injury. I always feel like Josh Hart is going to play in all of the games. That's just how I think about Josh Hart. So that's the injury report. Let's go over to Moneyballer real quick. And I want to look at Moneyballer twice in this game. I want to look at full season, and then I also want to look at the last 10 games to see if we can find something here. So real quick, while this populates, let's just look at this one. So Knicks have dominated the head-to-head matchup. They've won 7 of the last 10. They've won back-to-back. Both games last season at MSG and in Sacramento, they won and covered the spread. Both games they won by double digit. Well, they won by 9 and they won by 11. So Knicks have been playing really, really good. Maybe just a matchup thing. Sacramento, last 10 games have been playing really good. They're 8-2 straight up. Only 5-4-1 against the number. They beat the Golden State Warriors, didn't cover 7.5-point favorites, lost to Denver and didn't cover either. That was on the second leg of a back-to-back. They've been a much more of an over team, 8-2 to the over last 10 games, including back-to-back overs against Golden State and Denver. And that's how I kind of think about Sacramento. They can really struggle to score. They do play Brooklyn next on Monday, so super, short travel after this game. Defensively, they've just been giving it up. If you take away the Wizards game where they gave up 100 points, they gave up 127 to Houston. They gave up 130 to Milwaukee. They gave up 119 to Chicago. I had Chicago team total under 117.5 or 116.5 in that game. Vividly remember that. 118 to Miami. Most recently, 132 to Denver and 117 to Golden State. I kind of think the Knicks should be able to score the basketball in this spot. Just looking at that alone. The Knicks are more rested. You got 2 days more rest here. The Knicks have not played since they played against Brooklyn. That was the second leg of a back-to-back, so short travel. And they got the Memphis Grizzlies coming back into town. So Brooklyn will be at home throughout like the next 2 weeks. I don't think they got another road game. Well, at least the next week. They don't got another road game for a while. So that just a situational spot kind of makes me look towards the Knicks. So let's get into see what MoneyBaller has on this one. So we got third game of 4 nights for the Kings. Like I said, Knicks well rested. Rest advantage. So this is the full season. It looks like ATS-wise, the Kings continue to struggle to cover, 24%. The Knicks also struggle to cover, 48%. Both teams play a little bit more over basketball, 14th and 9th over to the over. And then look at the offensive efficiency for both teams. The Kings are 7th in offensive efficiency. The Knicks, 2nd in offensive efficiency. This is full season stats. Defensive efficiency, Kings 14th, Knicks 17th. Kings play fast, 8th in pace. Knicks play slow, 27th in pace. Both teams have a really good assist to turnover ratio, top 10 there. What else we got? Let's look into some trends real quick. Kings 6-2 to the over in the first half as a road dog. So they play over in the first half. Against the spread, the Kings are 2-8 for the full game if they are at the rest disadvantage. Knicks don't capitalize though. They only 5-1 with the rest advantage. I like this over though with the rest disadvantage. It lets me know that the Kings don't play as much defense in this spot. Let's see. Kings opponents, when they have the rest disadvantage, are 8-2 to the over. And with the rest disadvantage for the full game, the Kings have allowed every team to go up and over their team total. 10-0 are their opponents when the Kings are at the rest disadvantage. The Knicks with the rest advantage are 7-4 to the over on their team total. So real quick, let's just look at this. I want to see how many points they're giving up. So I'm going to go to Give Me the Dog and look at the Kings and rest is less than their opponent rest. 7-3 to the over. They're allowing 124 points per game in this spot. The Nuggets got to 132. The Heat got to 118. The Grizzlies got to 133. The Lakers got to 132. The Pacers got to 122. The Lakers got to 113. The Spurs got to 127. The Thunder got to 130. The Jazz got to 117. And the Spurs got to 116. So now I need to find a team total for the Knicks. And then I also need to match the two teams up on the floor to see if the Knicks should be able to score the basketball. So just some live capping. Knicks team total is 118.5. So New York team total over 118.5. That is a pretty high number. It looks like it's best offered on FanDuel at minus 118. And then there's some 119.5s out there as well. 124 is what they're giving up on average, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of the last 5 opponents, 4 have gone up and over this total. And the Heat are the Heat, so I don't think too much about that. Let's see if they're on the road in this spot with the rest disadvantage. Let's just look into this a little bit. Only happened 3 times, and they failed to cover all 3 of the spreads. They lost to the Spurs. They were laying 2.5. Lost that game outright. We're laying to the Lakers 3.5. Lost that game outright by 10. And then they most recently against the Nuggets, they were getting 7.5 and still lost that game outright as well by 9. And all 3 of their the Lakers and the Nuggets scored 132, and the Spurs got to 116. So Knicks team total over kind of makes a bunch of sense to me. Let's look a little bit deeper, and then I'll go through the comments. See if we can get to a Knicks team total up and over. Let's look at the Knicks offense versus this Sacramento defense. So yeah, I already see what it is. It's the 3-point defense. The Knicks are the 5th best team as far as accuracy from the 3-point line. They're shooting 38%. The Kings for the full season are the 3rd worst 3-point defense in the NBA. They're allowing teams to shoot 38%. So Knicks should be able to take as many threes as they want. The Kings are also bottom 5 in allowing 3-pointers. So their opponent 3-point frequency is 25th. Teams are shooting 40% of their shots at the 3-point line. In the last 10 games, it hasn't been much better. They're 15th in 3-point accuracy for their opponents. The Knicks are 11th in 3-point accuracy shooting the 3. And the Kings are still struggling with getting teams off the 3-point line. 20th. Knicks also playing pretty slow. 21st in transition frequency, 11th in points. And Sacramento's transition defense was actually good on the full season. They're actually still 2nd in transition frequency for their opponents and 7th in efficiency for the full season. But last 5 games, they're 27 in transition points allowed per 100 possessions. So efficiency-wise in transition, they've been terrible, have the Sacramento Kings recently. I think the Knicks should be able to score here. Knicks putting pressure on the rim, 9th in rim frequency, 5th in long mid-range frequency, 7th in corner 3 frequency. I feel like the Knicks should be able to score here. And hopefully the Kings kind of pace them up. That'd be nice. All right, so let's go Knicks. Let's go Sacramento. Knicks are playing at the slowest pace last 5 games. The Kings are playing at the fastest pace last 5 games. Knicks 13th in offensive efficiency, about 117.3, which is right where this team total is. The Kings 18th in defensive efficiency. I think it's an over game, and I think the Knicks can score. Strength of schedule, Knicks been playing this easy schedule, 27th or 4th most easiest, and then Sacramento 19th in strength of schedule. I like the Knicks team total at 118.5. Let me go to the comments and see what you guys are thinking about this one as I just kind of talk it out. I also want to go last 10 games and just kind of look and see what we have here as well. But I like the Knicks. I like that they have the rest advantage. I think we found the strong trend on the Kings team total for their opponents to go up and over. And this is efficiency stuff last 10 games. So let's see. Effective field goal percentage. Kings been scoring the basketball. Knicks been scoring the basketball. Effective field goal percentage allowed. The Knicks are not guarding their yard at all. 3rd worst in effective field goal percentage allowed. Defensive rating, Kings 11th. Not reflected. And then the Knicks are 26th in defensive rating. Kings playing super fast. We just talked about that. Knicks playing super slow. 28th in pace. 3-point shooting though. So the Kings are no, my fault. The Knicks. Let's look at the Knicks because I think that's where they're gonna be able to score the basketball from the 3-point line. Above the break 3 attempts. Knicks not shooting a lot of them. overall 3-point. We don't got overall on here, but corner 3 attempts allowed, corner 3 attempts make. So the Knicks actually, this don't look like the Knicks actually shooting the 3 well in their last 10 games, but the last 5 games, the numbers reflect that they have shot it a little bit better. Yeah, I think team total up and over would be the way that I'm looking to play this one. For the Knicks specifically, stay away from the spread. Let's see what you guys are thinking. I know I talked a lot, but just kind of handy, like a live handicap of this one. The other thing that kind of jumped off the page for me, I was actually going through listening to the beat writers the other day, and I'm gonna go back to Outlier again real quick and look at. I'm not even sure what the line is. So De'Aaron Fox is he's participating in shoot around today. Malik Monk. Don't we got to look at his assists in this game? I just thought about that. That just kind of came to my mind. Malik Monk assists. So I got 2 props now that I like. Monk assists because I feel like. Let's see. Yeah, Monk has been cashing his assist prop. It's 6.5 plus 118 right now. You can see that he's cashed the over in 5 of his last 6 games. And what we know about the Knicks is that they do a really poor job. I just thought about it when I saw De'Aaron Fox potentially listed as questionable. The Knicks, one of the worst pick and roll defenses in the NBA. You gotta love the matchup here for Malik Monk. He lives in the pick and roll. So looking at Malik Monk assists, man, I think, all right, so pick and roll. Let's look at the pick and roll defense real quick. Let's see. Yeah, he has a really good matchup here. Monk last 10 games real quick. Let's look at Monk last 10 games. He's averaging 12.5, almost 12.5 potentials in 35 minutes. So if we just filter this to full season where he's played 35 minutes or more, which I'm thinking he's going to need to this game, we get 6 of his 11 games. And I mean, he's going up and over this number. He's clearing it pretty easily. Not the first leg of a back-to-back, so no need to, potentially rest. If he's playing 35 minutes, he's averaging 11.1 potential assists. And I like the numbers for Monk here. I know you can get plus money. I love the look for Monk here. I think this game could be played with pace, especially if the Kings can pace up the Knicks. So Monk up and over his assists. I'm gonna add that to my short list. Over 6.5 assists at plus money. And then the other look that I was thinking about here was Karl-Anthony Towns under on his 3-point prop. Now it does conflict with with me liking the Knicks to go up and over their team total, and the Sacramento Kings 3-point defense is atrocious. But Karl-Anthony Towns has really struggled since he messed that finger. He messed that finger up. I forgot what game it was, but look at his 3-point shot over the last 10 games. He hit against Detroit. Can't remember which game he actually had that happen. I think it was the Atlanta game. You can see he hit 1. He didn't hit any against Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is a terrible 3-point defense. So the minutes will be there for Cat, but look at the attempts. They actually he only shot 3 against Brooklyn, shot 6 against the Knicks, and his line sitting at 1.5. I was hoping to get 2.5. So I don't think I really like it as much. I was hoping Cat line was at 2.5, and I was going to take the under. Let's see, alt line over 2.5. We don't got an under 2.5 though. So yeah, this I just listened to him talk about it after the game, and he said that his fingers really impacting his jump shot. So that was one of the things I was thinking about in this game as well, which is Karl-Anthony Towns going under, because I don't think his hands, is 100%. He got that chip bone, which potentially could have surgery, but I think he's going to opt out of surgery. So yeah, a couple looks I got here. Karl-Anthony Towns up and over, under his 3-point prop at 1.5. Don't like it as much. I thought it was going to be 2.5. Monk over his 6.5 assists, and the New York Knicks team total up and over 118.5. All right, I talked for a minute, so I'm gonna see if I can find some comments here. Let's see. Kings for Blaze. I don't like it. Knicks minus 4.5. DeMar DeRozan averaging 29 points in his career against the Knicks. So thinks DeRozan's in a good spot. The bonus, what about him? Or you just like his name? What you like? You got to put a prop or something that you like. Oh, there we go. First quarter points. Okay. Sabonis first quarter points. Sabonis first quarter points. Vaughn says I'm going to play the Knicks game. I'll find a player too in this one. Manny says as a Kings fan, I was not cool with them firing Mike Brown, and now like, hold up. Let Doug Christie cook. He has been cooking. GLB Best likes over. I like over. No, I did not catch the Australian Open. Nayeli says give her the Kings plus 10 alternate. Brian likes the Knicks in this one. Dirty Rig says Knicks 4-1 last 5 against the Kings. They have been cooking. So Taylor's on the other side. He says Cat gets the 3 threes plus 185. Sacramento ranks second in limiting points in the restricted area, expecting Cat to pop off screens instead of roll. Versus team 7th or better versus the restricted area, he has 3+ in 5 of his 8 games. So yeah, it's enough for me to stay off. I kind of lean towards under because I think his hand's still hurting. But Taylor got some great analysis on the over here. Let's see what else y'all saying. Fox assists, not a best bet. So Jacob, you like Fox over Monk? I need to know why. All right. I think we did a pretty good job here. If I'm playing it's Knicks to score. I think they can get the 120 in this game. And that 118.5 is on the move up to 119. It looks like on some books as well. Still moving that way. So we'll see. I might get to the window with that. Next game we got up is Rockets and Cavs. This line opened, I think, at 4. And the money started to come in on on Houston to push this down to 3.5. The total opened 228.5 is what I'm seeing, and it's still hovering around 228. So we got a Rockets team that is pretty healthy outside of Jabari Smith Jr. He's still out with the fractured hand. Cleveland will we don't know who's going to play for them. Of course, they were without Isaac Okoro and Evan Mobley last night. I'm not sure if Karis LeVert played in that game last night either. Did he play? He didn't play. So he did not play. They were without Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, and Karis LeVert last night. And second leg of back-to-back, of course, short travel from Philly to Cleveland. Dean Wade is also listed as game time decision today. It was a right knee injury for him. I'm guessing they probably won't play him after he left the game yesterday. It's a situational spot where you kind of want to back the Cavs. They're coming off a loss against the 76ers. You could say that they were looking ahead to this game. Before that, they lost again to this Houston team a couple nights ago. So maybe they were looking for revenge in this spot. Cleveland is, in my opinion, the better team. They're not the better. This is not the best spot for Cleveland, in my opinion, though. Outside of it being second leg of back-to-back, third game in 4, having to travel, this is also 4th game in 6 nights for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So you typically want to back them off a loss, but the Cavs haven't been necessary. They're not the Celtics off a loss. When the Cavs lose, they typically lose again. And I just want to put some numbers with that real quick. When they're coming off a loss, the Cavs they're 5-2 straight up, but 4-3 against the spread. They're only winning by about 3 points, which is right where this number is right now. And defensively, they don't get better. Three straight games, they've actually had the over, and they don't score. They don't play lockdown defense in their next game. Their opponents are actually 3-0 to the over on their team total the last 3 times that they've lost. So defensively, they've taken a huge step back. And to put some numbers to that real quick, Cleveland is 21st defensive rated team last 5 games. It makes sense because without Evan Mobley out there, they don't have that great of a defense. And then you start subtracting pieces like Isaac Okoro, and the defense also gets worse. And they just try to get in a shootout with Philly last night, and Philly had more bullets in the chamber last night with Paul George and Tyrese Maxey. So Houston's not necessarily a team that I trust on the road. The last time I tried to fade Cleveland at home was against the Phoenix Suns, and they got smoked in that game. But I do think Phoenix can keep. I do think that that the Rockets can keep this game close as well. I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on it, but I think the Rockets can keep this game close as well. I know Cleveland's the better team, but they're not in better form right now. The Rockets also rested in this spot. And the Rockets, I know they won the last game, but I think they can keep it within the number as well. I wish I would have got a +4. I think that they are the right side. Real quick to put some numbers too, because we're starting to get a bigger sample size without Evan Mobley on the floor. And I'm not sure if he's going to play tonight or not. I'm leaning towards no, but who knows? Without Evan Mobley on the floor, their defense is giving up about 6 more points per 100 possessions. It goes from 109 to 116. We're starting to see that. We're really starting to see that a lot. Teams are shooting the three-point shot a lot better against them, about 38%. The Cavs three-point defense can really struggle. So maybe a look towards Jalen Green, maybe Dylan Brooks props would be the ways that I would be interested in playing this one. I'm not one to catch the falling knife with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just from a defensive perspective, they've been pretty poor. So that's my thought process on this game. Don't really want to fade Cleveland either, but I think it's a Houston spot. Cleveland is, what are they? 4-6 against the spread in their last 10. Back-to-back losses against Houston and Philly. Got Detroit coming up on Monday, and the Houston Rockets are 7-3 straight up in their last 10 games. They lost to Detroit, but then they beat Cleveland by 1. The total was 229 in that game, and the total is higher in this one. So the total is lower in this one. So books are expecting this to be a defensive game. I don't know if I can get there with Cleveland, though. I don't know if I can get there with Cleveland. Don't know. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Josh Hart double for Q in that last one. Tasha says she's going to take Houston on the money line. NC Knicks is a thing, Chris. Kings +5.5. Never covering Knicks. Cavs are nothing, Daddy Rig says. Only bet in Knicks game are DeRozan points. Knicks -4.5, Cat 3.5 assists. Vaughn says Jalen Green bounces back. Just shot 4 for 16 versus the Cavs. I think he gets his points tonight. I like Cleveland on the second leg of a back-to-back. With Cleveland on the second leg of a back-to-back. I like that as well. Nolly says Cavs quick revenge spot at home. So the thing about the Cavs, if we look at them this season, we think Cavs quick revenge. They did smoke the Pacers the last time they were in a quick revenge spot. But the Cavs this season in revenge spots, I remember them losing to Atlanta in this spot earlier, and then they lost to somebody else in this spot as well. Let's see what they are real quick in revenge spots this season. The Cavs are, it's right in front of me. Cavs are 2-1, straight up 2-1 against the spread. They lost by 16 to the Hawks. They beat the Celtics by 4. They beat the Pacers by 10. But these games, they were a lot healthier. I don't know if people really take it into consideration, not Nayeli specifically. I don't think people really factored in, the key contributors for this Cleveland Cavaliers team. Like they're starting to, I know that they're a deep team, but the key pieces are starting to be missing. If Mobley doesn't play, Isaac Okoro doesn't play, Karis LeVert doesn't play, Dean Wade doesn't play, I'll probably take Houston plus the 3.5. Rockets +4 for Bryant. Rockets +3.5. Jordan says, Chris, you never buy points. You only play the set line. I'm never buying points in the NBA, ever in life. Ever. I'll just take money line if it's a close spread. But yeah, I'm not buying points in the NBA, ever. Bobby says, I see the Rockets covering by the hook. I don't like this game. Okay. Vaughn says, I'll be at the Knicks game. I like your Knicks team total play. Yeah, I think the Knicks can score today. I'm probably going to get there and add that to the card. Let's go 76ers and Bulls. I'm still on a Bulls free diet. I start all the handicaps by saying that. But I'll give you guys some situational stuff here on the teams. So Philly probably feeling a little good about themselves. Finally got a win. It felt like it's been since 2023 since they won a game to get back into the win column last night. So head-to-head wise, this is second game of the season? Yeah, it's only been one game so far. Philly did beat Chicago 108-100 back on December the 8th. That game was a pretty high total, 236.5, and it went under. This game is also a pretty high total, but it opened 229.5. It's up to 230.5 now. So total going the opposite direction. Embiid did play in that game. He had 31 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists. He will not be active in the game today. Tyrese Maxey also had a pretty good game. He had 25, 14, and 11. So he had a triple-double against the Bulls in that last game. And Paul George was just probably standing out there in the corner. He had 12 points and went 0 for 5 from the three-point line. Probably needed to do a little bit more with Embiid back, though. So you look at the recent form for Philly, it's been terrible. 2-8 straight up, 1-9 against the spread. They finally covered last night, won the game against Cleveland. And it was because they shot the ball so well. Do we think that they can shoot the ball again that well? I feel like against the Bulls, anything is possible when you're playing the Bulls. They shot 50% last night from the floor, 48% from the three-point line, hit 25 threes last night of the 52 attempts. I'm sorry, my fault. That's not right. I'm looking at the last game that these two teams played. Philly last night against Cleveland, I think it might have been better than that. Philly shot 51% from the floor and 54% from the three-point line. 54% from the three-point line is crazy. I mentioned Paul George hitting 6 last night. Tyrese Maxey hit 4. Eric Gordon hit 4. They were just hitting. Yabusele hit 2 of his 6 last night as well. They were just kind of on fire. The Bulls are traveling back cross country. Their last game, of course, was in Golden State. It was a Chicago Bulls spot. Golden State was on the second leg of a back-to-back. Golden State was getting 4 points. The Bulls were laying points, and the Bulls got smoked. Lost the game by 25 points, and that's one of the reasons why I can never bet Bulls games. I will say this in all seriousness. The Bulls' offense has been pretty bad recently. They got one good game in here where they were able to score the basketball. They scored 123 against Charlotte, and that was 4 games ago. They're 3-7 against the spread, 3-7 straight up, 4-6 against the spread in their last 10. But they've lost 6 of their last 7 games, or 7 of their last 8 games, and they also have only covered in 1 of their last 6 games. So the Bulls, real quick, if I just look at them offensively, I think that's where things have been kind of bad for them. Yeah, offensively, they are 27. So 4th worst offense over the last 5 games. They're 14th in defensive efficiency, still 9th in pace, which is slower than they have been playing because on the full season, they're 2nd in pace. And that's all against the 6th easiest schedule. Bulls they're terrible, man. Philly has played the 2nd strongest schedule over the last 5 games. Offensively, they are 11th. Defensively, they are 30th, the worst defense. And they're also playing very slow, 26th in pace over the last 5 games. This spread is what, 4.5 in favor of Chicago? I'll probably be looking at taking the points. I'm not sure if Paul George and those guys are going to play on the second leg of a back-to-back. That's some digging that I would have to do that I really just don't feel like doing right now. But I think the lesser of the two evils, if I had to make a play, and like I said, I'm still on a Bulls free diet, no Bulls games for me. But if I had to make a play, I think I'd be taking the points with Philly. I'm just not looking towards Chicago in any form or fashion right now, and probably won't be for the rest of the year. This probably be after the season ends. I still won't be. After the All-Star break is what I meant to say. Real quick, let's see if I can find anything on Philly as far as injury report. I didn't see Underdog tweet anything last night. If y'all see anything on that game, y'all let me know. Let's see. Last night, takeaway from the victory, blah, 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 blah. Maybe a look towards Maxey to keep it going. PG probably falls off a cliff tonight. Nick Nurse on the 3-point shooting. It feels good to shoot 53%. That feels a lot better than 25%. It almost feels twice as good. All right. Looking for injury report stuff. I don't see anything. So we'll keep it there. A quick, short, I guess, slight lean towards Philly catching the points on the second leg of a back-to-back, especially with Chicago having to travel all the way back from the East Coast, from the West Coast. Their last 3 games was in Portland against the Clippers and against the Golden State Warriors. So only 1 day of rest for them to get all the way back cross country. I'll probably be looking towards Philly taking the points here, not laying with the Chicago Bulls in current form. Let's see. Anybody got thoughts on this one? Cavs first half. Let's see. I read that already. no Mobley, no Cavs. Tasha likes Milwaukee, the Houston money line. Not looking towards the Cavs, man. No, it's hard to fade them. Brian says Bulls -4. He likes them. Your Chicago Bulls, not mine. Tasha says back with this game, still on that Bulls free diet, and I will say it's treating me really, really well. Jacob says Paul George gets his 5 assists. Cedric says Paul George assists is garbage. So some contrarian looks there. Next game up, Jazz Grizzlies. I won't be on this one long either. I honestly, this one really could just kind of throw away. The total moving up from 241 to 246 is intriguing. Does Ja Morant play on the second leg of a back-to-back after not playing last night because he was sick? Who knows? Ruled out with an illness. The Grizzlies still were able to get whatever it is that they wanted in that game. Yesterday, I talked about really liking that team total over for the Grizzlies. I think that's another way to get paid in this one. Again, I think their team total yesterday in the first quarter was 31.5. It was a little juice, but they went up and over that. And I don't see this Utah team giving them any kind of trouble, with being able to score the basketball either. So first quarter team total, Grizzlies at home, didn't have to travel. I know second leg of back-to-back, potentially get Ja Morant back, and I would be looking towards Memphis. 31.5 is their team total. So same number, I think 30.5, 31.5, -122 on DraftKings would be the way that I would look in this one as well. Not going to give you guys all the analysis, but I think Memphis is averaging 36 points in the first quarter at home when they're a double-digit favorite. Over 31.5, DraftKings got the best number right now. So just real quick thoughts there. Utah is getting a little bit healthier. I know John Collins is still ruled out. I wrote that down. LaRavia didn't play last night. Santi Aldama didn't play last night. They could potentially return in this game. That would help a lot as well. So, and then Sensabaugh is also listed as game time decision. He is probable, which should be even more offense for the Utah side of things. Colin Sexton, Keontae George are also back. I'll probably be looking towards a Memphis first quarter team total over. Let's see. Taylor likes Ja to get his assists. That also makes a lot of sense. The Grizzlies give up a ton. He says 8 and 9 assists. Jazz allowed a 26 most assists in the league with 25 minutes versus teams 15 for worse in assists allowed. He has 9+ in 7 of his 10 games, 7.5 on DraftKings right now. I will be tailing this one from Taylor. Over 7.5 assists for Ja. That's crazy. The number is so low. On DraftKings right now. Let me see what I can find real quick. See if that's the best number I can find as well for Mr. Morant. $7.5 -120 on ESPN Bet right now. So 5-cent difference in juice, but you can get it on ESPN Bet at -120 right now. Shout out to Ashjan. But yeah, -125 is playable. -140 on Bet365. So this line is moving. It's probably one I should just bet right now before it moves too much. But I do like this a lot. Shout out to Taylor for dropping this in the chat. Vaughn says this should be a prop game as well. Talking about the last game, I think the Sixers made all their threes last night. They did. Felt like all of them. No Morant, Luke Kennard threes. So Luke Kennard is an interesting look. If he went crazy last night, Luke Kennard did, and if Santi Aldama and LaRavia doesn't play, it's going to open up a lot of minutes for Luke Kennard, and he should absolutely be able to get whatever he wants against this Utah Jazz team. So Luke Kennard, any game, honestly, that LaRavia and Santi Aldama doesn't play, but even if one of those guys don't play, he gets a lot more usage. So I like that a lot. Brian says he'll take the Jazz plus 11.5. Which I guess I couldn't talk you off. They are healthy in this spot. I think the only players they got out is John Collins and Jordan Clarkson. Morant has plans on coming to Philly versus the Eagles championship game. Lean Jazz, Tasha says. Okay. What up, Chad? Appreciate you for tapping in. He says Luke Kennard wilding. Yeah, he's been wild. Yeah, he's been hooping. Luke Kennard's been hooping, and he's going to get extra usage in this game. Next one up, we got Lakers and Warriors. This line open. Lakers -1. Still sitting at about -1. A 1.5, still sitting at 1. Total was 221. It's down to 218.5 now. I'm on a Lakers free diet as well. They kind of go with the Bulls. We see them play very inspired basketball in their last one against the Boston Celtics. Win that game by 19 points, I think it was. Won by 21 points against the Boston Celtics. They have one back-to-back. The other one came against the Wizards, though. Almost beat the Wizards. Well, almost beat the Wizards by 30 before losing to the Clippers. So Lakers just real Jekyll and Hyde type team for me. I can't pick the spots for the Lakers. Don't know when they're gonna play hard. They are 6-4 last 10, both straight up and against the spread. They won 2 and covered 2, but then they failed to cover 2 in a row against the Clippers and the Nets. They have played Golden State pretty well. They did go into Golden State and win that game on Christmas, 115-113. That was the only time that they played this season. Golden State also very Jekyll and Hyde type team as well. Lost to Sacramento on the second leg of a back-to-back, got blown out by Boston, but then they come back home and they beat the brakes off Chicago 131-106. They won and covered that game. So back-to-back covers for the Golden State Warriors. They will still be without a lot of key guys. I see Gary Payton. I think I put in my notes that he's probable. Wiggins is probable. This is Jared Vanderbilt's first game of the season where he's off the injury report. It should be able to play. And AD and Bron are also listed as probable in this game as well. So no, Brzezinski is also, he's been upgraded. Listed as probable. He should return in this game. Probably a look towards his unders. I think he's going to struggle in his first game back. Draymond's still out and Jonathan Kuminga is still out as well. So you could really say that this game's going to come down to the Lakers 3-point defense. That's the only thing Golden State wants to do is shoot a bunch of threes. So if the Lakers can force this Golden State team off the 3-point line, maybe they can, go in here, find a way to pull out another win in Golden State. But it's not anything that I want to put my money on. Last 5 games, Golden State's the 5th worst defensive rated team. They are, like I said, just shooting a bunch of threes. They're first in above the break 3 frequency, first in all 3 frequency. And they're shooting it pretty well. 8th in accuracy from above the break 3, 5th in accuracy overall, shooting about 41%. The Lakers 3-point defense is mediocre at best. They're 22nd last 5 games in above the break opponent 3 accuracy and 18th in all above the break 3 accuracy. Teams are shooting way too hot, way too well from the 3-point line. Coach Kerr had his team moving, and I think that honestly it might be an over game. Let's see. Like I said, I didn't really dive too deeply into this one. Golden State, LA. Let's see. I know the Lakers are playing super slow. So Golden State, both of these teams playing slow. Golden State 23rd in pace last 5 games. Lakers 25th in pace last 5 games. Lakers are number 4 in defensive efficiency last 5 games. And the Golden State Warriors are 27th in defensive efficiency. That tells me Lakers team total the Lakers should be able to score. Anthony Davis should live in the paint in this game, right? Like, why wouldn't he? They don't have bigs that can bang with AD. So that makes me think Lakers team total up and over. But I know if the Warriors are a home dog, they typically go under. I'm just talking out loud, clearly. I'm gonna write Lakers team total over 109.5. Looks like DraftKings got the best number, but real quick, if we go over, let's just go back to MoneyBaller real quick so you guys can see what I'm seeing. I feel like when the Warriors are a home dog, they typically play really good defense early. So maybe a Lakers-Warriors first half under. Talking myself into that. Let's see. So let's go full season. So you got Lakers coming off a win as a dog, so it should be a letdown spot. Warriors 3rd game in 4 nights, 4th game in 6 nights. I said that already. Don't like that as much if you like this Golden State team. Fade teams off wins where they made many threes, which the Lakers did against Boston. Makes a bunch of sense. Let's see. So here we go. So the Warriors as a home dog in the first half are 1-5 against the spread, but the Lakers as a road favorite in the first half only 3-4. Let's go totals. Here we go. So over under record, the Warriors 6-0 to the under as a home dog in the first half. Love to see that. The Lakers as a road favorite, 4-3 to the under in the first half, 5-2 to the under in the full game if they're a road favorite. So offense doesn't come to play. I don't like the Lakers team total up and over because this says that they probably don't get to their first half team total. Warriors have held every single opponent under their first half team total if they are a home dog. Even the Boston Celtics in that last game were under their team total as well. So I'm sorry, here we go. They actually went over 5-1 to the under. So first half under seems like it makes a bunch of sense here in my opinion, or just for the Warriors to cover in the first half. What are they ATS in the first half? They're only 1-5 against the number, but it's because their offense struggles in this spot. Let's see what that looks like. Warriors and home dog. They're averaging 5-1 to the under. They're averaging 44 points in the first half are the Warriors as a home dog. So first half total points between the Warriors and the Lakers is 112.5. I think that might be the play. Under 112.5. We just cashed one of these the other day with the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings. I don't trust the Lakers offensively. I don't trust Golden State offensively. Do worry about the Lakers guarding the three-point line a little bit. But if this game is played at the pace that both of these teams have been playing at, I think we see an under game here. Real quick, let's just look at first half team totals for the Warriors. Warriors first half team total 56.5. That's a lot of points for the Warriors. Golden State first half team total under 56.5. The Lakers are 56.5 as well, and it's actually starting to drop now. It's down to 55.5. So yeah, these are things that I will add to the short list. I'm gonna look a little bit deeper, but I think first half under 112.5, just based on what we can see, based on what you guys can see here. The Lakers are an under team on the road as a favorite, highlighted in red, and the Warriors are an under team at home in the first half as well. So we'll lean under here, under 112.5 in the first half in this game. And then the second half, maybe some shots start to fall, and we could care less about that. So that's my thought process on that one. Let's see. And I think Anthony Davis, like I said, I think he should have a big game. Let's see. Manny says Luke Kennard needs to be drug tested. Jacob likes Ja Morant over as well, since he got -115. I'll be locking that in. Never bet your mortgage. I don't even care if your mortgage was free. Don't put it on the Lakers. Warriors money line for Nayeli. Brian says Lakers. I enjoy them winning, but I can't bet them yet. No Kuminga, no Green. Lakers should roll, and they should. But you never know what intensity you're gonna get from this Lakers team, man. Vaughn said if Ja is out, Bane. I like Bane more than Kennard. I like them both. Bane had 13 assists last night with no Ja Morant. That is crazy. That is crazy. Chad says he took a bunch of dogs. He likes the Rockets. I said I like the Rockets, right? Yeah, I like the Rockets. He said he liked the Kings. I don't really like the Kings as much. I like the Knicks team total over a little bit more, Chad. He likes the Wolves. I don't like them. I think you wait until Anthony Edwards gets ruled in, and then you take the Denver Nuggets, and then he likes the Raptors. I do think the Raptors are the right side. Anthony Davis points over for Nayeli. Few too many points for the Knicks in his opinion, Chad says. It is about right, I think, which is why I don't like the spread. Lakers are nothing, want zero to do with the Warriors, and I agree with that. I want zero to do with the Lakers either, though. This is a terrible game, in my opinion, from a betting perspective. 77 figures is one thing for sure. AD will come up lame with an ankle or knee injury every time he plays Golden State, taking the under on any AD props. And it does feel like he always gets hurt, man. Christmas Day, Bron had to finish that game by himself. I think that happened last year as well. All right, cool. Let's move over to the next one. I think we're almost there, right? Yeah, we be on this one for 5 seconds, man. We got the Wizards and the Suns. Not a game I hadn't even thought about this game, honestly. Let's see what I wrote down. It's a terrible spot. That's what I wrote down in my notes. I did do some due diligence on this game, just very, very little though. But I wrote in my notes, I wrote terrible spot for the Wizards. It's 7 game and 11 nights for the Wizards here. And last game I talked about their team total going under against the Clippers. That was an easy one. I think they scored like 93 points. There's also, I think this may be the last game for them. Let's just double check the spot real quick. Like I said, I honestly don't care too much, but I'm always trying to find a way to get paid too. Let's see. So these teams, of course, just played January 16th. The Wizards did cover as 11.5 point dog in that game. That game went 130 to 123 on the 232 total. This one is 232.5. The Suns typically go under on the road and over at home. Or no, opposite. Suns go under at home and over on the road. So for the Wizards, they've lost 10 straight games. They failed to cover 3 in a row. They have scored 188 and 93 points in their last 3 games. Just bad, man. They got one more stop on this 6-game road trip. They play in Dallas on Monday. So yeah, they've been absolutely smoked. Now, am I laying this many points with Phoenix? Absolutely not. Somebody assist to go over, I think should be good money. Nick Richards double makes a bunch of sense in this game as well. For Phoenix, they have the rest advantage as well. 1 day rest advantage. They have not played since the Brooklyn game. It is first game back home after a 6-game road trip for them. They got a big game coming up against the Clippers on Monday. What is the team total for the Washington Wizards? Not that I really trust the Suns defense, but let's just look and see what it is. Probably very similar. Probably 106.5, 107.5. Let's see what we got for the Wizards. Wizards team total 109.5. I think that's a little too high. I see 108.5 out there as well. I'm always looking to bet Washington team total under. This is the worst offense in the NBA, and it's not even close. As I mentioned, they scored. I know they scored against Phoenix in the last time that they played. They got to 123, but they've struggled last 3 games, 188 and 93. Also, real quick, let's pull this up. Not sure if people are familiar with B Titty, but he's a comedian from Cleveland, and I follow him on Twitter or X. And he had been talking about Kuzma because Kuzma had put that post out. Kuzma been looking like trash. I told you guys the other day Kuzma's supposed to get traded, or at least that's what I saw, that he was supposed to get traded. So Kuzma unders kind of feel like you should just play them until they don't cash anymore. This what you guys can see here for people who join late. This is Outlier. There's a link in the description of the video that'll get you a 7-day free trial if you're interested in checking out this software, sports betting software. So Kuzma points is listed at 15.5, and you can see that he's hit this line in 3 of his last 10 games. So he stayed under in 7 games of the last 10. And it's just bad, man. Kuzma is looking really, really terrible out here. 3 straight unders against Sacramento, LA, and the Clippers. If you look at, let's see, the head-to-head matchup, they played against Phoenix. He had 5 points in that game. You go down here and check. I mean, you just look at some of this stuff. 28 minutes. So it's not even like he's playing 30-plus minutes a lot of the time. He's shooting 35% from the field, 24% from the three-point line, and he's also shooting 56% from the free throw line. So I think Kuzma is an absolute fade until further notice. You could honestly just put this in half-unit play. Just keep playing it over and over again. You're going to win a lot more money than you're going to lose, at least while he's still in DC. So, yeah, I like Kuzma under his points prop in this spot as well. Full season, looks like he's only cashing 38% of his road games. He's played in 13, only hit the over in 5. And like I said, just look at all that red, man. Kuzma has been atrocious recently. And I don't think he's going to stop here, especially if he ends up drawing like Dunn. Dunn's a pretty good defender, and Kuzma I don't even think Coach Keefe is going to keep him out there for too long. His minutes haven't even been there. So, yeah, Kuzma under 15.5 points. It's kind of crazy that the books keep putting it this high. If you add the assists, you can see under 18.5 is hitting 8 of the last 10 games as well. So something else to take into consideration. His 3-point prop is 1.5. He's gone under that in 7 of the last 10 games. Like I mentioned, he's only shooting 24% from the 3-point line. Like Kuzma's just been bad at basketball recently. So just some player prop looks, and I definitely would be looking towards Wizards team total under, even with them scoring as many as they did in the last time that these two teams matched up. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Snowman, no. He says Wizards team total under. Jacob, no. He says Warriors team total under. First half better than the total. I think, yeah, I agree with that. I think I'm gonna add Lakers Golden State first half under 112.5. Niley says Wizards plus 14. Brian says first quarter, first half of Phoenix. Total stay away for Chad. Call the number, he says. Grayson Allen to hit his 3-point prop. Taylor says Wizards allowing the 29th most 3-point attempts and 26 most points to the above the break three. Allen scores 53% of his from the 3-point above the break 3-point line. Versus teams 15th for worse in 3-point attempts allowed. He's over in 11 of his 13 games. So you love to see that hit rate for Grayson Allen. Makes a ton of sense here. All right, let's see. Book 30 ball. Book loves to beat up on bad teams. Yeah, I think real quick, I know to end that road trip, Bradley Beal did not play. I think he is going to play today. He is listed as probable. So Bradley Beal coming back could potentially steal some thunder from Devin Booker, but we'll see how that goes. And let's see. Next game we got up is the last one on the board, and that's the Bucks and the Clippers. So this is probably one of the better games on the board for today. And if I'm being honest, like I said, I still got a little bit of work to do. I want to play this game though. Total is getting steamed up. It opened 224 up to 226.5, 227 now. And the spread opened with the Clippers laying 3, and it hasn't really moved a lot. Even though the Bucks have been absolutely on a heater, the people, you know, the bettors are not betting the Bucks in this game, at least not yet. Not to move this down to, you know, from 3 to 2.5. Let's see real quick. The Bucks are they've dominated the head-to-head matchup. They've won 4 straight. They've covered 3 of the last 4 as well. 8-2 in the last 10 against the Clippers. So they have been the better team overall over the last few seasons. Milwaukee has won 8 of their last 10 games, including 5 in a row. They've covered all 5 as well. All 5 have actually been by double digits as well. They beat the Kings by 15, beat the Magic by 29. Yeah, beat them by 29. Beat the Toronto Raptors by 18, beat the Philadelphia 76ers by 14, and then they just beat the Miami Heat by 29 as well. So it's interesting that they're laying points now, but this is the first road game after 5 straight home games. On the Clippers side of things, it is a little bit of a fatigue spot. This is 6 game and 9 nights. I did write that down in my notes. They're 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games, and we know that they absolutely ball out at the crib. The Clippers are what is their home record? If they're a home favorite, they're 12-2 straight up, 11-3 against the spread. So as hard as it is to fade the Bucks, this is a very strong trend to say if the Clippers are at home, just play, you know, the opponent team total under, or just lay the points, or whatever you need to do with the Clippers, because they win by an average of 15.5 points. They're 8-5-1 to the under. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of their 14 opponents have stayed under their team total. They're allowing just 99 points per game. And I mentioned this the other day with the Boston game. With Kawhi in the lineup, their defense has gotten so much. I mean, not that the Clippers already weren't playing really good defense, but their defense has gotten so much better with Kawhi on the floor. So real quick, let me just give you guys the updated numbers. Kawhi on the floor, they have a defensive rating of 93.9, an offensive rating of 128.2. So they are plus 34 in the 123 minutes with Kawhi on the floor this season. To put that in perspective, with Kawhi off the floor, they are plus 1.05, offensive rating of 110, defensive rating of 109. So Kawhi has meant a lot to the team. And, you know, just watching them play, it was one of the reasons why I like the Wizards team total under in the last game, because they were going to rest Kawhi in the first game against Boston and then play him in the next one. So I just think that based off this trend, I know that let's see real quick, the Bucks as a road dog. See how many times Milwaukee has been a road dog. They're 4-4 against the spread. Let's see what they are straight up. 2 teams you really don't want to bet against right now. They're 3-6 against the spread, 3-6 straight up, 5-5 against this, 5-4 against the spread as a road dog this season. They're also 6-3 to the under. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They've been held under their team total in 7 of these 9 games as well. So I know that the total still seems a little bit too low for me. I was hoping that this was like a 228.5, 229, and I would like the under a little bit more, but 226 feels manageable. The other thing, the reason why I couldn't get there with an over though, is that both of these teams are playing so slow. I just gave you guys the defensive numbers. When I see strong defensive numbers like that, I'm never looking towards the over. But when I look at pace, the Bucks are playing fast. They're 6th in pace. We know that the Clippers play super slow. They're 19th in pace over the last 5 games. On the full season, they're also 20th in pace. At home, they're 20th in pace as well. Number 1 in defensive efficiency last 5 games, holding teams to about 103 points per 100 possessions. So if you think that they're going to be able to slow down Giannis, if you think that the Bucks are also going to be able to play a little defense in this game, and you think that it's going to be played like a championship style playoff game, then you definitely want to like the Clippers. I am looking at strength of schedule right now, and both of these teams have been playing some cupcakes. The Bucks have played the 3rd easiest schedule last 5 games. Let's just look at that real quick. The Bucks last 5 games came against the Heat, cupcakes, the Sixers, cupcakes, the Raptors, cupcakes, the Magic with all the injuries, cupcakes. They played the Kings in here as well. So that's been their last 5 games. Like I said, they've won and covered all of them by double digits. And then you look at the Clippers' last 5 games. They have played the Wizards, cupcake. They did beat the Celtics, but the Celtics were down a couple starters. They beat the Bulls, cupcakes, the Lakers, cupcakes, and the Trailblazers, cupcakes. Then before that, the Nets, the Heat. So some of these numbers could be a little inflated. They haven't played against a good team in quite a while. Last time they played against a good team was actually on the road. They played the Nuggets. This was the day that the Fires was going on. They got smoked in that game. I kind of chucked that up to the Fires going on, especially after listening to the players talk about it afterwards. They were more so worried about their families than this game against the Nuggets, and that's why they lost by 23. In my opinion, that's how I kind of see that game. Yeah, so 2 teams that you really don't want to fade right now, man. I know they lost to the Bulls, but that was a game that they were without James Harden, without Zubac, and they were on the second leg of a back-to-back. So I guess I can't fault them too much for that. They fought hard against the Celtics as well. Man, it's a tough game. I think I lean towards the Clippers. I like taking the home team when 2 good teams play against each other and it's a non-conference game. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick for you guys, show you what that looks like. Just a trend that I'm always thinking about in my head. So let's go to Give Me the Dog. Let's make me smaller and let's zoom in so you guys can see. All right, so let's just look at, I typically go about 20, let's go 2018. So since the 3-point shot has impacted the game so much, so season greater than equal 2026. So if we look at home favorites and let's say their win percentage is greater than 55 and opponent win percentage is greater than 55. Both of these teams are, I'm pretty sure the Bucks are above 55% win percentage now. Maybe, if not, they're close. And then you got a not that is non-conference and that it is a regular season game. So it's not a playoff game. The home favorites typically win and cover. So you can see 200 and 144. So 64% almost. About 50% of the spread. They typically land almost 5 points versus the 3.5 here. And this season, 9-6 straight up, 9-6 against the spread, 12-2 to the over. So that's the over trend for this season when 2 good teams play together, especially with this total being so low. 226. Let's see if it's active today. Yep, it's active on Cavs and Rockets, and it's active on Clippers and Bucks. You can see that here. Let's see, scroll over. Okay, so it says the Cavs get a bounce back spot here today, and the Bucks also take a L to the Clippers based on the numbers that we saw here. And it's a strong over system. Strong over system as well. Starting here with the Thunder and the Hawks, which maybe we should have put after 10 games. Let's see. let's see if we add like a game number is greater than or equal to 10. So that way you're factoring in teams that's good after 10 games versus just teams that are good throughout the first 3 games of the season. See, it's still strong towards the over 81%. Man, I really don't want to bet that over with Kawhi though. Let's see, what's the team totals for both? Team totals are 111 and 114. Can the Bucks get to 112? They should be able to get to 112. That's what, 56 points a half? I think they should be able to get to 112. And the Clippers are 114, 115. That's what I kind of worry about. I feel like the Clippers offense isn't that great, but do I trust the Bucks defense? Real quick, let me look at one more thing. Let's just change this from. This is what happened when I don't cap the games before, and I'm still trying to share, just give y'all stuff. Just trying to live cap it, take you through my process. All right, so let's just go. Let's see if both teams have a 60% win percentage. So even better teams. Active on the Cavs and the Rockets. It's a strong spot for the Cavs today. 54% against the spread this season. 6-1 against the spread and straight up. 5-1 to the over. 5-1-1 to the over. And then history of the database. It's a pretty strong trend. It's definitely moving towards over this season versus over the years. It's been more of an under. So yeah. 55. And BASB is before the All-Star break, which I always think that games go over before the All-Star break. Defense kicks in after the All-Star break. So I'm just looking at this one. Still 9-2-1 to the over this season. More of an over trend before the All-Star break. This game is before the All-Star break. As you can see, it populated there. Okay. So yeah, I think I'll lean with the Clippers. I think I will lean with the Clippers in this one. Still feel like I got a little bit more work to do though. I need to match the 2 teams up on the floor. I'm actually tired of talking. I've been doing the show for forever. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Oh, and the Spurs game about to start too. I gotta hurry up and get off here. I want to see that. Mark likes the Clippers. He got -2.5. Is there still 2.5s out there? I think I like the Clippers based on everything I looked at too. You can get 2.5 on ESPN Bet with 15 cents of juice attached. And Fanatics got 2.5 -110. 2.5 -110 with no juice, just the regular 10 cent. Which, man, I really don't want to keep talking, but this comment just kind of made me thought about this trend, man. Trying to think. Don't want to bring this up. There's a trend that I have in my trends spreadsheet that says that teams that have won and covered 5 or 6 straight games in a row and then they pop up as a dog, you typically want to fade them. And I'm just debating whether I want to share that with you guys or not. I'll share it with y'all. Let me go back to just because Mark made me think about this. Let's go back real quick. Let's go back to Give Me the Dog. All right, so let's see. All right, so total sum of your wins over the last, let's see, the Bucks have won how many games in a row? The Bucks have won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you won 5 in a row, and then you're a road dog. Let's see what that looks like. And they've won 8 of their last 10 as well. So I can look at that as well. Man, I hope this is valuable to you guys. I hope this is helpful. All right, so they've won 5 in a row. So of their last 5, they've won 5. And then they're a road dog. Yeah, it says that they lose here. So this should be active. Let me move Mark's comment. So this what you guys can see here, I just got season. Over here, what you guys can't see, over here, it just says season is greater than 2019. This is total sum of your wins over the last 5 games equal 5. So it's just saying that you've won 5 straight in a row. And then you're a road dog. You can see that they typically lose 42 and 84 straight up, 61, 62 and 3 against the spread this season, 4 and 12 straight up, 6, 9 and 1 against the spread. Should be active on, Bucks and Clippers. Says that it's a Clippers spot today. Not a spot to back the lot of losses here. Not a spot to back the Bucks today, based on this trend. Let's look at this since 2021. Yeah, about the same. The last thing I wanted to look at was let's look at since 2018 teams that have won 8 of their last 10 games, and then they're a road dog. My fault, I put the numbers in the wrong spot. So they've won of their last 10 games, they've won 8 greater than or equal to 8. Oh, maybe I didn't do that right. Hold on, let's see. 8, 10. Oh, man, I put an 8 here. I'm like, hold on here. All right, so I had it right the whole time. So they've won 8 of their last 10 games, and then they pop up as a road dog. This should give us greater than. Hold on 1 second. What am I doing wrong? 10 of their last 10. So I did have it right the first time. Or the second time, one of the times I had it right. All right, so of the last 10 games, they've won 8. Here we go. Yeah, it's a fade spot for the Bucks all the way around. 74 and 60, 169, which is pretty much 70% on the Clippers today. ATS wise, they typically don't cover. You can see the average spread is about 4.5, but only covering about this 57% right here, 56.4% for the Clippers. And this season, 8-5-1, it should be active. Yeah, Bucks. It also says to fade the Bucks. It also says to fade the Kings. They've also won 8 of their last 10 games as well, and they're also getting points. So it has been some success recently. Let's see. Make sure these are regular season games. It's even stronger if it's the regular season. Up to 60% against the spread. Says that you fade these teams. Say you fade the Bucks. Say you fade the Kings. Even though there is a little win streak here of teams, but primarily a lot of losses in this situation here. Okay, yeah, that took a lot longer than I thought it would, but just kind of wanting to. This was the trend that was active on the Cavs when they came into. I mean, the Thunder when they came into Cleveland earlier this season as well. A team that's won a bunch of games in a row. Let's see. So Mark likes the 2.5. I like the 2.5 too. Be ready to watch your Commanders lose today. We don't need that energy, Ayo. Relax, bro. Have a chill pill. Have a Coke and a smile, man. DeAndre Hunter now questionable. Let's see. DeAndre Hunter now questionable, and there is no game today, Ayo. We actually play tomorrow in Philly. Clippers money line for Jacob. So a lot of my guys like the Clippers. Now at least likes the Clippers and Dame to get 30 points. Harden assists with Leonard back and Powell up and over his points. Snowman says, Powell is in a pretty good bounce back spot. I know he wet the bed against the Clippers in the last game, so I could see him having a really big game. Drop a Dime says Clippers for him as well. Spurs starting now. Is that game already on? Is it starting right at 12? Let me just get the iPad fired up. Clippers money line. A lot of people liking Clippers. Pacers first half. I actually thought about playing Pacers first quarter, Brian. I actually thought about playing Pacers first quarter, but I did not pull the trigger on it. Just Pacers for the full game for me. I played Pacers on the money line for the full game. What up, Julio says, good morning, Chris. Back in action. If the Bulls beat the Clippers the other night, I think the Bucks can get them. The Bulls beat the Clippers without a couple key pieces, real DJX. You got to go back and look a little closer than that. The bookie says he likes the Warriors plus the 1.5, Suns minus the 14. And that's what we got. Jacob throwing in Hunter's questionable. What's up, Itachi? Hope all is well with you, bro. He says, let's get this money. What's up, Fortune? He says, where can I find some of your final picks? So all my final picks are in the description of the video. Use that link to sign up. It's $5.99 a month. Crazy how cheap my picks are. But yeah, use the link in the description and it'll send all of them to you to your email, whatever email address you use to sign up. So getting into a quick recap. None of these are. This is the recap from yesterday. So I'll go in and write down kind of what we talked about. Official play for me. I'll run through the whole slate real quick. The Indy game is about to start right now. I took the Pacers on the money line, bounce back spot for them after burning my money the other day. That is an official play. That's the only thing that I've sent out so far. As far as other plays on the board, I want Anthony Edwards ruled in, and then I'll take Denver. So I'm not sure what the line's going to be. Like I said, I did put a little bit on Denver yesterday. I took them on the money line minus 120. That, of course, is gone with them being a 4.5-point road favorite now. But I like Denver today in the bounce back spot. Playoff revenge. Already lost this season. In-season revenge. I like Denver a lot today. I'm not laying the 4.5 because I think it is going to play and you're going to get a better number. As far as the other things that we talked about that I have written down on my short list that I have not played yet, let's go to the Knicks game. We talked about team total up and over 118.5. I lean towards Houston plus the 3.5. I'm not sure if you can get a 4. Houston plus the 4. Houston plus the 4. We talked about Monk up and over his over 6.5 assists. I love the look for from Taylor over on Tatum rebounds. Also, my favorite look in that game, couple things I like, and I need to make this a lot smaller now because it's a bunch of things I'm about to write on the board. It's a big slate for today. All right, so Tatum boards. I like the Dallas first half team total under 55.5. Also, Porzingis over 5.5 first quarter points in the game against the Mavs today. And Spencer Dinwiddie under 4.5 assists for Spencer Dinwiddie today. I do think that he's going to struggle to get us to accumulate assists today. Memphis first quarter, if I'm betting anything in that game, their first quarter team total is at 31.5. If Ja Morant comes back, I'm not sure how they don't score 35 points in the first quarter against Utah. Lakers Golden State first half under 112.5. Went over that one in great detail. Slight lean to Golden State under their 56.5 in the first half as well. Washington team total under 109.5. Kyle Kuzma under 15.5 points. And I'm missing one. Probably not gonna play it, but Brooklyn plus the points. If everybody gets ruled in, I might put a couple dollars on Brooklyn. Not laying points with Miami right now though. Brooklyn plus the 9. I think that's all the games. No real looks on New Orleans and Charlotte because we don't know who's going to play. Both teams on the second leg of a back-to-back. No real look on Toronto and Atlanta either. Guess I lean a little bit more towards Toronto, but probably stay off of that game. Do like the Knicks team total up and over. Probably going to add that. Philly, Chicago, slight lean towards Philly. Plus the 4 in that game. But wait, see what happens with the injury report with Philly. Chicago, terrible spot. First game back home after a 3-game road trip on the West Coast. And I think that's it. Very thorough. Oh, and the Bucks. How we forget about the Bucks? Gotta add the Bucks. I did not go through that whole handicap to not play the Bucks. Clippers, you can get a -2.5 right now. So when I do this, the only thing that I played is in green, which is at the top. But these are all the other ways that I think you can get paid today, man. Bunch of other looks on the board. Oh, and I know another one I forgot. jaXon. I'll probably be on jaXon as well. Over 7.5. If he plays, we'll see if he plays. Fast-paced Utah team, no defensive team in Utah as well. So Ja up and over his assists as well, man. Lot of. I think, like I said, 14 games, 28 teams in action. Been on him for over 2.5 hours. These are the ways that I'm thinking about the game. I hope this helps. hope this helps you guys out. Cleveland, Julio says his only play. Didn't really think about Giannis points and assists in this one above the moon. If I'm thinking about the Clippers playing really good defense, I don't think I really like it as much, but we'll see how it goes. Appreciate you for joining as a member, Fortune. I will be sending out some looks as I finalize the card throughout the day. I don't really like playing a lot of things early because the injury report it changes so much, man. So, stay tuned. We only got 4 early games that start before regular time. All the other games are at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So as the injury report, starts to settle down and people aren't being added or subtracted from it, then I'll start to send out some plays. Billy says he likes Walker Kessler double-double. Yeah, they are in the perks. They are. Appreciate you for sharing that, Brian. Justin says, level out, bro. This helps me more than you know. Appreciate you. Now, I appreciate that, man. That's why I started doing this. Appreciate you, Billy. Sean says the Pacers so far for him too on the money line, and that's where we at with it so far. Just Pacers for me today. I've went through a lot of these resources, but if you guys are interested in checking them out, check them out, man. jaXon will get you 50. It's a 50% referral code in the description of the video for jaXon. Same thing for Outlier. Same thing for TheMoneyBaller, and 20% off of OddsJam as well using referral code CBC. So check those out. Enjoy your Saturday, man, and I will be locked in, probably trying to send off some live plays as well, especially in the earlier games. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy your Saturday, man. Want access to the Discord, just shoot me an email at ChrisBeCappinn 2 P's 2 N's, and I can shoot that link to you as well. All good vibes, positive energy, and cashing over there in the Discord as well. Enjoy your Saturday, man. We'll be back tomorrow. Only one game for tomorrow. Might just do a one standalone video, not even live, between OKC and Portland, depending on where the line opens. But honestly, it's a good day to take off too. But I got some NFL plays, so we'll be back doing NFL tomorrow. I did bet 2 NFL plays, potentially maybe even 3 NFL plays for tomorrow championship game. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Best of luck today, and like I said, enjoy your Saturday, man. I'm out.